Chapter 1701. What is Tao? Chapter 1701. What is Tao? Yemo sped up, and after he entered the golden door, a whirlpool swept him away instantly. After an extreme sense of dizziness, Yemo suddenly woke up. The sound of cars rung by his ears. Fashionably dressed young people walked past him and looked strangely at his outfit. This was Ning Hai University. Yemo immediately realized what this place was. He just entered the Tao-seeking tower, and he came to Ning Hai University. Was this all true? Decades passed, the uni gates were changed. Yemo sighed. He heard Kai Feng, Immortal King, say that the first level is Heart Demon Tao. He had been cultivating the three-birth chant, and used bitter bamboo. He didn't have Heart Demon at all. I have no Heart Demon. No need to Tao seek Heart Demon. Yemo ignored the people around him and said. The next moment, he felt another wave of dizziness, and he instantly disappeared from the entrance of Ning Hai University. Countless immortal spirit herb and rare materials appeared before him, as well as all sorts of runes and formation materials. A voice at the distant edge of heaven sounded. It was like the teachings of your master, the Tao of art, pill, forgery, rune, formation. Side Tao they are. The path of pill Tao has thousands, but the thousands come together to one. All sorts of pill concoction methods. Forgery methods weaved together in the air. This was a level for people to learn about pill Tao, forgery Tao, rune Tao, and side Taos. Yemo didn't expect the side Taos came from the Tao-seeking tower. Calculations, fortune-telling were all side Taos. Soon, Yemo cast these thoughts aside. He wasn't interested in rune Tao, but pill Tao and forgery Tao, as well as formation DOA, had completely encapsulated him. He devoured these knowledge like crazy, completely forgetting about time. He even forgot he came to the Tao-seeking tower for Tao-seeking God art. After an unknown amount of time, Yemo suddenly woke up. He didn't know how long had been in here for, but he knew he couldn't stay anymore. If he did, he might stay here for a few hundred to 1,000 years. Tao was endless. Even the pill Tao was enough for him to stay countless years. To him, he only needed to know some knowledge and the direction, then he would know what to do. Thinking about this, Yemo ignored the sound by his ear and said loudly, I've passed Art Tao. No need to ask, please go to level 3. This time, there was no reaction. It was still the sound of all sorts of Art Taos. Yemo's face changed. Was he really going to study Art Tao here forever? If that's so, then wouldn't all those people who came in here be forever stuck at level 2? Or was his golden card different to other Tao cards? Thinking about this, Kai Feng, Immortal King, only told him there was Heart Demon Tao seeking and Magic Art Tao seeking. He didn't talk about Art Tao. Yemo didn't have the mood to study Art Tao anymore. Half a day later, he said again, my pill Tao, forgery Tao, and formation Tao has entered the Tao door. Please go to Tao seeking level 3. Rumble. Yemo felt a huge sound in his sea of consciousness. Then there was the dizzy feeling, and he was teleported away again. When Yemo fell down, all he saw were magic arts. Yemo rejoiced. He finally understood what was going on. At level 2, one must have at least one Art Tao that reached a certain level, then he could ask to go to level 3. Otherwise, he could only wait till the tower felt his Art Tao was mastered before teleporting him to level 3. Magic Tao person. All magic is born. How is it up to the cultivation method? Magic art, Tao art, the ethereal voice sounded again, but Yemo rejoiced. He needed to fuse his magic arts. He wanted God art. But after a long while, Yemo saw and heard all sorts of cultivation method and magic artifact fusing together without being able to learn anything about God art. Even if he wasn't here, he could slowly derive those things from the three-birth chant. The best thing about this place was that it gave him a general direction and overview. For other abstruse immortals, they might never be able to learn everything at level 3. But Yemo lost interest. He said loudly, my Tao art has entered the Tao gate. I just lack God art. Please give me the way to learn God art. A golden stairway suddenly appeared before Yemo. Yemo immediately knew that going to level 4 wasn't through teleportation, but these stairs. Yemo stepped up the stairs without hesitation. When he got on the first stair, a voice asked, "What is Tao?" Then Yemo felt a powerful pushing force. He found it difficult to stay on stair 1, much less go up to stair 2. Yemo knew that he had to answer, or he would be pushed back to level 3. He immediately said, "Human way earth, earth way heaven, heaven way Tao. Tao way is nature. Thus, nature is Tao." Yemo didn't know where he got this answer, but when he used 3-birth chant to derive cultivation method, there seemed to be this word. So he used it. As soon as Yemo said this, the pressure was gone. Yemo quickly went onto the second stairs. He heard that voice again. "What is Tao?" Same question? Yemo frowned and said again, "Matter born out of chaos, from the heavens and earth, silent and lonely, solitary and unchanging, periodic and never-ending. It is the mother of world. I don't know its name. It is a word Tao." Yemo walked up another step. Then he got the same question again. "What is Tao?" "One yin, one yang is Tao." "What is Tao?" "What people plant, making everything not know its point of existence. This is Tao." "What is Tao?" Yemo sweated cold. He found that no matter what he said, he could only walk a step forward. If this continued, he would be answering, "What is Tao?" his entire life. Is this Tao seeking? This seems too eerie. Yemo wanted to talk bullshit. That was a type of Tao, but who knows if he would be teleported out. Yemo stopped on the 8th stair and thought for a long while. "I came to seek Tao. I want to know where to seek Tao. If this repeats, there is no need for me to seek Tao. Ask again. I am Tao." With this, Yemo felt his essence spirit throb. His mind opened up. His answers had been other people's Tao. Everyone has his own Tao. My Tao is myself. He wanted to know where to seek Tao. Now he realized Tao was on himself. What need is there to seek Tao? Rumble. Yemo felt the stairs below him disappear, and he appeared at a new place. God Art Tao appeared before him. Yemo knew he was at level 4 now. All sorts of magic arts and Tao arts jumped around in his mind, making himself want to immerse into it. Without thinking, his thoughts already dived in. Yemo wanted to find a suitable god art for the world rock, but when he immersed himself in this feeling, the first thing that appeared in his sea of consciousness was Guan Feijin's finger. That finger was like the galaxy turning over, the mountain ranges exploding. It sucked in all the killing intent in the world and reappeared before him. Rumble. Yemo's sea of consciousness rumbled. It was as though in the distant heaven that finger appeared again, pointing at his essence spirit. There was a shocking voice in midair. How heaven first finger? Annihilation. Annihilation? Yemo's 6 senses were completely captivated by this finger. He kept taking in and digesting the laws in this god art. Time flew by. 1 day, 1 month, 1 year. When Yemo woke up again, he punched out. The entire level 4 was swept by this fist. Space itself seemed to have been drawn in by this punch. It formed waves of death whirlpools. The entire space was getting annihilated, disappearing. Good punch. Yemo looked at this and said, "This will be my first god art." Void. Yemo suppressed his excitement and said, "Void was just 1 punch, but it fused Annihilation Finger and Space Law. It even had a sliver of Spirit Sense attack in it." Yemo was certain that if he learned Void before, this fist could completely stop the Annihilation Finger and hard suppress it. Yemo didn't study the second punch. It was already great luck that he created the first punch. He didn't expect himself to be able to create second one. Yemo took out his world rock. Void was a lethal blow, but the world rock was his main method of attack. Chapter 1702. Abandoned Son. Chapter 1702. Abandoned Son. Yemo didn't close his eyes in contemplation like before. He released the world rock and smashed around everywhere. The entire space was filled by his world rock, spirit sense, and immortal essence dominated everywhere. Even the god art laws here were damaged by world rock. Luckily, there was no human nor immortal spirit beast here. When Yi Mo used up all his immortal essence and more than 90% of his spirit sense, his world rock suddenly stopped. Then it appeared a few km away suddenly and smashed down. Yi Mo paused and looked dazedly at the world rock. He actually learned a new god art: instant kill. After releasing the world rock, who could defend against it if it suddenly appeared above one's head, unless one had an extremely powerful defensive magic artifact. Otherwise, this was instant kill. Yi Mo breathed easy. This move would be called Tai Mountain Crush. However, it used too much immortal essence and spirit sense. It was best to save it for crucial times. Yi Mo put away the world rock and stopped studying new cultivation method and god art. His thoughts stopped on the Tai Mountain Crush. If he used space law on running and travel long distances in an instant, who can catch him? Yi Mo couldn't teleport, nor did he know transmission. But he heard that transmission was a powerful god art that could teleport a person from one planet to another or even one heaven domain to another. Yi Mo knew that it was impossible to use transmission with his current power. However, he could try study it. 3 months later, Yi Mo completely gave up on it. He just always seemed to lack that one little bit. However, he didn't ask to go into Dao Seeking Tower Level 5. He still needed to fuse 5-element magic and illusion cloud technique. He offended to many people. Other than increasing his own power, running away was also very important for him. 2 months later, Yi Mo's 5-element mobility was in great completion. 4 months later, Illusion Cloud 9th Strike was created, Rainbow Birth. Yi Mo didn't want to perfect the 9th strike of Illusion Cloud. Illusion Cloud dominated the cultivation realm, but in the immortal realm it was rather useless. He couldn't fuse Illusion Cloud into a god art as it wasn't in great completion. Thus, he just created the 9th strike. It's the only strike that wasn't named after Illusion Cloud, and the only strike that was between magic art and god art. This time, the 4th level opened up a stairway itself. Yi Mo knew it was towards level 5. He was scared of it asking him countless questions, but he had to go on it. What shook him was that this time he wasn't stopped at all and easily came to the 5th level. Law Dao. When Yi Mo saw these Law Daos, he was overjoyed. Yi Mo knew clearly the use of law. He used law to save his life in that battle with Guan Feijin. But he only knew a tiny sliver of law. Just that was enough to let him kill Guan Feijin. One could see how important it was in the immortal realm. Yi Mo closed his eyes and felt the chaos chi here. It was indeed chaos chi, like his golden page world. However, his golden page world wasn't compelled, and he couldn't feel any laws. This was a complete chaos dimension. All sorts of laws circulated around his body: metal, wood, water, fire, earth, wind, space, time, realm, life. Countless laws rushed at him. Yi Mo remembered these information one by one and then tried to learn them. 3 months, half a year, 1 year had passed. When Yi Mo slowly woke up, he found that all he knew well was still that tiny space law. He only remembered some information about other laws, but he couldn't learn it. What was going on? Was this law Dao space worse than that palace he was in before? Yi Mo frowned. In this year, he tried to learn all sorts of laws and tried to learn more about space law, but he didn't improve one little bit. Yi Mo didn't try to learn laws anymore. He realized that it was a huge fortune for him to be able to learn a sliver of space law. It was more because Yan Zhouqian used it before him, and he captured that law wave, an immortal essence wave. Now, no one used law before him, and his power was limited, so it was daydreaming to keep learning law. if Yen Jiuqian was status immortal or great immortal, then even if he used space law, Yi Mo might not be able to learn it. Realizing this, Yi Mo stopped trying to learn law. He knew he benefited something at least. There was the information of all these laws. One day when he could learn the laws, everything would work out together. Yi Mo started studying instant transmission. He didn't want to give up that. This was top-grade escapability, a powerful tool in battle too. This time, Yi Mo wasn't disappointed. Half a year later, with the help of that sliver of space law, Yi Mo learned a sliver of instant transmission. He could teleport 100 kilometers instantly. This wasn't big, but as his power increased, this distance would only get bigger. The only drawback was that it used a lot of immortal essence and spirit sense. After using instant transmission, Yi Mo was very excited. No wonder everyone wanted to come in here. This was a haven for cultivation. If he could stay a few hundred years in each level, how much would he accomplish? Before coming in, Yi Mo asked how long people could stay in here for. It depended on what you learned. You couldn't stay here for as long as you wanted. Some people come out in a few years, some come out in a few decades. Some can even stay for 100 years. It's said that the limit was 100 years, but rarely do people stay for that long. The 5th level disappeared, and the stairs appeared. Yi Mo knew it was good to stay here, but his time was limited. He could only say, "I've learned a sliver of space law. Please take me to level 6. A light swept over him, and Yi Mo landed on the 6th level. Yi Mo rejoiced that he knew a sliver of space law, or he wouldn't even be able to come up here. Yi Mo just looked up and saw the words Samsara Dao, and he felt a wave of dizziness. Clear pictures flashed before Yi Mo: merchants, soldiers, generals, emperors, workers, farmers, countless faces, countless lives flashing before him. It was as though he saw different versions of himself. He saw himself born in Beijing and being ambushed sitting in Ninghai Uni classroom. So that previous Yi Mo was just a reincarnation of mine. I was still myself, but reborn into another reincarnation. Suddenly another scene flashed before Yi Mo. In an extremely beautiful garden, a messy-haired woman carried a youth. She cried while kneeling before a middle-aged man with an emperor's crest. There were more than 10 youths before this middle-aged man, and tens of extremely beautiful women. The woman was crying and trying to hold the leg of the emperor. The emperor frowned and sneered, "What's the point of keeping such trash? He's not needed." "Feng Emperor Master, please keep Yao Air." Before that woman finished, the emperor kicked, and that woman and youth rolled down the stairs. Find a cultivation realm with little spirit chi and dump them there. Whether or not he can reincarnate depends on his luck, that emperor said and turned to leave. Feng Emperor, that woman cried like a weeping bird, but that emperor continued to leave. 2 bulky men charged at the youth and took him away, leaving behind the crying woman. Yi Mo suddenly woke up, but found he was covered in tears. Only the word Samsara Dao appeared before him. Was that youth one of his reincarnatinos? Was that spirit chi arid cultivation realm East Black State? Who was that Feng Emperor? Why did he abandon him? Who was that woman? Why did she protect him like that? Where was that extremely beautiful garden? An entire day passed, but Yi Mo found that he didn't move at all. Chapter 1703. I Won't Reincarnate. Chapter 1703. I Won't Reincarnate. Yi Mo took a step forward and seemed to have understood something. He felt that youth was one of his reincarnations, and that weeping woman was his kin. Yi Mo clenched his fist. Before reincarnation he was abandoned. After reincarnation he was still abandoned. From the beginning of his 8-element spirit root cultivation, he was still being abandoned. Heaven Dao was abandoning too. It seemed that every divine damnation was set to ambush and kill him. Without the golden page world, if he didn't know formation, if he didn't have the 3-birth chant, if he didn't succeed in body refinement, without these he would have been abandoned again. that divine damnation would have turned him into dust. But this time, with great fortune and perseverance, he controlled his own fate. At least up until now, the heaven Tao and divine damnation wasn't able to do anything to him. Looking at the samsara Tao, after a long while, Yi Mo raised his hand and said slowly, from now on, no one dares to send me into samsara. From now on, I, Yi Mo, will exist as long as the heavens and earth. I will never go into samsara. Then he waved with his palm, and a golden light struck out. The words echoed in the 6th level, never ending. From today on, he would control his own fate. No one can abandon him. No one has the right to abandon him. He had the golden page world, 3 birth chant, bitter bamboo. He didn't believe he couldn't be eternity. Rumble. As Yi Mo made his oath, the immortal essence in his body rumbled like the waters in a river. Yi Mo just stood there. His immortal essence grew strong without him needing to cultivate from abstruse immortal tertiary stage to peak stage. His sea of consciousness seemed to have materialized and condensed as though supporting his oath. Waves of golden immortal essence circulated around his body as though refining his body. 1 day, 2 days, a month had passed, and Yi Mo punched again. The void shivered as though the entire level 6 was shaking. Yi Mo knew it was time to go to level 7. From now on, I won't enter samsara. No need to seek samsara Tao. Please go to level 7. Yi Mo said, won't enter samsara. Won't use samsara Tao. Please leave samsara Tao. A voice sounded in the void. Yi Mo immediately realized that this meant to send him out of the Tao-seeking tower. Yi Mo was certain there would be immortal king's men watching. As soon as he left, how could he even live? There was a wave of dizziness. Yi Mo was shook and quickly threw away the strand of hair Sun ran goddess-marked and then went invisible. He was planning to use the strand to teach her a lesson, but now that he was going to be teleported out, he didn't dare to keep such disaster. At the same time, he understood what Tao seeking was. There was 2 meanings. First, when you're in a level, you must understand a sliver of the Tao meaning of that level. When you did, then the Tao of this level would become another meaning. That would be the real Tao path. You could use this Tao path to enter into the next Tao seeking place. When he was at level 6, the samsara Tao, he said he won't enter samsara Tao. Clearly he couldn't use the samsara Tao to reach level 7. Even though he realized his own samsara, he still couldn't. If he wanted OT come to Tao seeking tower level 7, he could only wait till next time, or he might just appear at level 7 straight away. If he didn't use samsara Tao to enter level 7, clearly he would be teleported out of the tower. When Yi Mo felt he landed in the Tao-seeking square, without hesitation, he used a few instant transmissions. It happened all within a second. After 5 instant transmissions, Yi Mo stealthed himself and didn't move. When he left the Tao-seeking tower, there would be space nad immortal essence wave. He had stealth cultivation method, but he wasn't certain if people would pick up on the waves. It had been a few years after the Tao-seeking tournament, but the people at the square still hadn't left. They were still feeling that Tao wave. Brother Peng, did you feel a sliver of space ripple in the square? A great eternity immortal asked another great eternity immortal. Brother Peng frowned and said, Brother Fong Yi, I felt it, but when I scanned with spirit sense, I saw nothing. The 2 glanced at each other and looked serious. They said almost at the same time, let's have a look. After leaving the Tao-seeking square, Yi Mo felt no spirit sense scan nearby him. He didn't dare to stay and kept using instant transmission. He was only a few hundred km from the Tao-seeking tower. He didn't dare to overtly use mobility magic nor blue moon. Both would release too much space ripple, and people would notice it. Only instant transmission had the smallest ripple in space. Unless someone's spirit sense was scanning it where he used instant transmission or knew he was using instant transmission, then he wouldn't be found. After using instant transmission more than 10 times, Yemo was exhausted. If he continued like this, he didn't need to great eternity immortal to kill him. Even an hollow immortal would be able to kill him. So, when he was nearly 2,000 km from the Dao-seeking square, he was prepared to use mobility magic. Yemo was planning to escape the city and then get on Blue Moon and fly as far away as possible. However, before he used mobility, he immediately felt a terrifying sense of danger. Yemo instantly made the decision to hit his power at Golden Immortal Middle Stage and walk into a nearby merchant tower. He didn't dare to go into the Golden Page world. As soon as he did, he felt a powerful spirit sense scan past where he was. Yemo was worried. He was in the merchant tower, but he didn't have any mask on nor way to change his face. He shone brightly in the Dao-seeking tournament. Most of the people in the city knew his face. Brother Peng, Fang Yi was interrupted before he finished. Brother Fang Yi, it's been a few years since the tower opened. In less than 2 months, we will be exchanging shifts. We need to watch the square carefully to prevent any accidents. Brother Peng immediately understood and smiled. You're right, we need to watch it carefully. They felt the immortal essence wave. They thought it was probably someone who left the tower. But if they couldn't find this person, and then Immortal King, blamed them, it wouldn't be good. They really had no clue, so they might as well pretend nothing happened. They would be exchanging shifts 2 months later anyways. Plus, their main purpose was to watch Yemo. Yemo was a mere abstruse immortal middle stage. There was no way they wouldn't be able to know he left Dao-seeking tower. The pill prices here are rising too quickly. Let's go to Feng Wei, Immortal City. It's said that both pills and artifact prices there are cheap. 2 abstruse immortals walked around and said. Yemo heard this and thought he could use the teleportation formation to leave. Yemo left the merchant tower quickly and came to the teleportation formation. He had this extreme feeling of danger, as though the longer he stayed here, the more danger there was. He couldn't leave through the city gates, so he would use the teleportation formation to go out. There were many teleportation formations in the city. As long as it wasn't the Heaven Domain teleportation formation, it wouldn't be checked. No one would check a mere golden immortal, and he easily teleported to Feng Wei, Immortal City. Yemo didn't even go out and teleported to Zailing, Immortal City. After leaving Nuai, Immortal City for less than 5 minutes, an extremely powerful spirit sense searched the city inch by inch. The city fell silent immediately. Anyone could feel the anger of that spirit sense. Chapter 1704. Great Immortal Divine Damnation. Chapter 1704. Great Immortal Divine Damnation. Such powerful spirit sense was clearly Immortal King's spirit sense, but this Immortal King wasn't he Immortal King, it was Chang Xian Immortal King. He was Immortal King Peak Stage, and one of the top Immortal King of Yuan, Lu Heaven. He's also the master of Guan Feijian. The reason he took a Heaven Immortal disciple was purely due to Guan Feijian's potential. Plus, Guan Feijian gave him the jade slip for How Heaven Finger. He really liked this disciple and felt Guan Feijian's future would be no lower than him. He thought that on the mere Dao-seeking tournament, no one would be able to threaten Guan Feijian, so he didn't care about it at all. What he didn't expect was that when he came to the city, he got news of his disciple dying. He was killed on stage by his opponent. He didn't believe it at all at first, but when he heard it was an abstruse, immortal middle stage, knowing a sliver of space law, he believed it. However, that Mo Ing had went into the Dao-seeking tower, and there was nothing he could do. Just like he set up someone to watch for him. It was a great eternity, Immortal 2. He was more desperate to kill Yemo than as Yemo took all of Guan Feijian's belongings. Other things were fine, but that How Heaven drum concerned How Heaven Grand Emperor's heritage. Guan Feijian only got a small part of How Heaven Emperor's heritage. He didn't get the real How Heaven drum. He studied what Guan Feijin got and didn't find anything useful, so he left Yuan, Lu Heaven, to find the heritage. When he found the place where Guan Feijin got the heritage, he found that replica drum was very suspicious. He wanted to study it, but then he found out his disciple was killed and the drum was taken away. Regardless, he had to find that Mo-ing when Yi Mo came out of the Tao-seeking tower. Chang Xian, Immortal King's great eternity, Immortal also noticed the space wave, but he didn't find out who came out of the tower. Unlike He Yi's two great eternity Immortal, he immediately notified him. What annoyed him was that when the news came, he was concocting an important cauldron of pills and didn't check it in time. This news was very important for him, as he used his spirit sense to search the entire city as soon as he could. He wouldn't believe that it wasn't Yi Mo. From his perspective, Yi Mo could kill Guan Feijin. His means weren't ordinary. Plus, Yi Mo knew a sliver of space law. It wasn't impossible to escape from the surveillance of great eternity, immortal like that. More importantly, no one but Yi Mo needed to run. It was because of this that Chang Xian, Immortal King, was certain the person who escaped was Mo-ing. Yi Mo had gone, so he found nothing. His spirit sense startled the other Immortal Kings, but he couldn't care. 15 minutes later, Chang Xian, Immortal King, got the news that Yi Mo left from teleportation formation, and his face was green. He didn't notify He, Immortal King. He just started tracking the teleportation formation, and even planned to stop all the teleportation formation in Yuanlu Heaven. Lin Immortal City was a small immortal city. When Yi Mo came out of that city, he didn't keep using teleportation formation. He didn't know if he was being tracked, but he had experience in running. Even on Earth, escaping through public roads was the stupidest idea. An Immortal King would definitely be able to know all the situation about the teleportation formation in his heaven domain quickly. Yi Mo didn't know it wasn't he, but Chang Xian, Immortal King, hunting him. However, his carefulness saved his life again. He left the teleportation formation, which meant he left the control of Chang Xian, Immortal King. Otherwise, no matter how many times he teleport, he would eventually fall into Chang Xian, Immortal King's hands. Yi Mo left the city also because he wanted to break through to Great Immortal, even though he could kill Great Unity Immortal. But what if there was a Great Eternity Immortal? He satisfied all the requirements to break through to Great Unity Immortal. The earlier he reached that state, the better. After leaving the city, Yi Mo released Blue Moon, and in a short while disappeared from the range of the city. No matter how powerful Chang Xian, Immortal King was, he wasn't able to monitor all the immortals leaving a city everywhere in the heaven domain. Yi Mo mixed himself amongst the immortals and left the city. No one even noticed. Half a month later, Yi Mo appeared in a desert. This was called West Barren Sand. Yi Mo found this place from a jade slip in Guan Feijin's storage ring. Yi Mo got large amounts of rare materials from Guan Feijin and Jian Sha's storage ring, especially Guan Feijin. He had large amounts of pills and immortal spirit herb, as well as a crystal card with 100 million immortal crystals. It had an internal storage space. It could store up to billions of immortal crystals inside. Usually, only extremely wealthy immortals would use it. Ordinary immortals only needed to keep their immortal crystals in their storage ring. After organizing the things, Yi Mo studied the Yuan Lu Heaven map. The West Barren sands were rather immortal spirit chi arid in Yuan Lu Heaven. Only low-level immortals would trial here. This region had an area of tens of millions of square kilometers. It was like a palm-sized place for the immortal realm, but it was the best place for divine damnation to Yi Mo. Yi Mo didn't touch the immortal crystals card, but took out the remaining 100 million immortal crystals and set up a huge spirit-gathering immortal formation. Yi Mo knew the immortal spirit chi he needed to break through to great unity. Immortal wasn't little. He didn't dare to have his divine damnation without enough immortal spirit chi. Reaching great immortal was a milestone. Solo Cultivator and Sex all took great immortal divine damnation seriously. People would be protecting the person who broke through. If he lacked immortal spirit chi, people would supply it, but Yi-Mo didn't have such benefits. After eating a special grade Great Unity Immortal Pill, Yi-Mo used the three-birth chant at full power, devouring immortal spirit chi. The immortal spirit chi nearby slowly gathered to Yi-Mo. More and more immortal spirit chi came as Yi-Mo used the three-birth chant. Even in the desert, a terrifying amount of immortal spirit chi was drawn over from everywhere within a 10,000 km radius. A day later, a huge immortal spirit chi whirlpool formed above Yi-Mo's head. The immortal crystals around him turned to mist, and the immortal spirit chi that seeped out completely enveloped Yi-Mo's body. The sky in the desert started to grow dark. There was a rumbling sound nearby, as though lightning would fall at any moment. He was ambushed by the divine damnation when he reached abstruse immortal. If he didn't have a mortal nirvana body, he would have been dead. So Yi-Mo didn't dare to be careless at all. Crackle! A terrifying lighting exploded in the sky, shocking Yi-Mo's essence spirit. Rumble, rumble, rumble. 3 lightning arcs fell. There was shock in Yi-Mo's eyes. He had gone through divine damnation many times. He was ravaged by lightning, and he ravaged lightning too. Even so, he had never seen divine damnation this terrifying. It was just 3 bolts, but each one were bucket-sized thick. It was as though the lightning was trying to strike his soul into hell. Just what divine damnation was this? The lightning arcs were already above his head. Even if his octagonal cauldron was fine, it wouldn't be able to stop such lightning. This divine damnation was trying to kill him again. Yi-Mo's eyes went red. While he released World Rock, he threw out countless lightning swords. They only focused one lightning arc while he punched towards the last arc. Even the divine damnation can't take his life. Chapter 1705. Lightning Sand. Chapter 1705. Lightning Sand Crack. The sounds were endless. Yi-Mo had plenty of lightning swords, but it couldn't stop that single lightning arc rumble. The World Rock smashed into one arc, and Light9 splashed in a rain of sparkles. But Yi-Mo didn't have the mood to admire the scene. His fist struck one arc too. Thud. This punch wasn't a casual punch. It was void. His fist hadn't even clashed with the arc yet, and the punch brought together the airflow and immortal essence together and crashed into the arc. The arc slowed a little and then clashed with Yi-Mo's fist instantly. The huge fist pierced the arc but couldn't stop its terrifying destructive power. Countless lighting struck Yi-Mo's body. The lightning that lightning swords couldn't stop struck Yi-Mo at the same time. Yi-Mo felt a terrifying destructive lightning pillar strike his chest, and he spat a mouthful of blood. The greatly weakened lightning arc struck into the sand, and the scattered lightning light swept the sands and stones nearby into a whirlpool. In the whirlpool, Yi-Mo devoured lightning source like crazy while rejoicing. He chose the desert for divine damnation. The endless lightning power was rapidly devoured by him and converted by the 3-birth chant all into immortal essence that nourished his body and improved his power. The fist that only had bones left rapidly regenerated. Soon, Yi-Mo's fist had recovered. Yi-Mo was very calm. He knew this divine damnation was trying to kill him. If he didn't learn his new god, art, he wouldn't have survived this no matter what. Rumble, rumble. In the blink of an eye, 6 more equally powerful lightning arcs fell. Yi-Mo was very calm. He wasn't angry anymore. He knew that this divine damnation wanted to kill him, and getting angry was pointless. The only opportunity was to use this divine damnation to improve his power. When his power allowed him to ignore any opponent, he would take out his fury today. The 6 bolts were enough to kill him, but Yi-Mo knew that as long as he passed these 6, then no matter how many more came, he didn't fear. He believed these 6 bolts were enough for him to reach great immortal. His lightning sword didn't have a god, or not because he didn't want to create one, but he wasn't able to. Yi-Mo released that top-grade immortal artifact sword and tens of immortal artifact shields. He released all that he could release other than Zissou. He didn't want Zissou to be damaged by this terrifying divine damnation. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Crack, crack. The divine damnation was crazy, and so was Yi-Mo. No matter how powerful the world rock was, it could only stop one lightning arc. The top-grade immortal artifact sword blocked one, but it was smashed to pieces. Even though his lightning sword increased in power after devouring some lightning from before, there was still some difference in power. What it couldn't stop would fall on him. The tens of shields were like paper, and only stopped the divine damnation for a moment. One thick lightning arc that wasn't weakened at all struck Yi-Mo's chest. The arc that Yi-Mo punched tore his clothes apart. His entire arm was stripped of flesh. This was his first time getting injured this seriously since reaching immortal nirvana body. Thud. Yi-Mo's chest spilt blood. His ribs were broken. Even the body protection immortal essence of the immortal nirvana body wasn't able to stop such a thick lightning bolt. A 3 kilometers deep ditch appeared where Yi-Mo had his divine damnation. The divine damnation was like a terrifying plow that ravaged this desert and flipped it around. Splurge. Yi-Mo spat many mouthful of bloods, but still stood there devouring lightning source. He wasn't sure if there would be more like this, but if 6 or even 3 more came now, he would die. The immortal nirvana body protected his body, otherwise his body would have turned into a bloody mist. When the sky became dark again, deep groans sounded in the heavens as though something was being prepared. Yi-Mo was certain no one's divine damnation was this fast. There was almost no pause between the first and second wave. In the blink of an eye, the third wave was about to come. Yi-Mo knew that the next wave would be more terrifying, but he was very calm as he devoured lightning source. He knew that if he didn't improve his power, he would have no chance of surviving the next wave. Large sums of lightning source was being devoured. So was the immortal spirit chi around him. Together, they rapidly changed into immortal essence. As peak stage, Yi-Mo's power had reached a borderline now. Rumble. All the immortal essence in Yi-Mo's body seemed to have found a breakthrough point. The filled body became empty once again. Countless immortal spirit chi and lightning source were devoured by him like crazy. Yi-Mo felt the terrifying power of his body. He believed that no matter how many immortal spirit chi and lightning power came now, he would be able to devour it. This was because he had reached great unity immortal. At the same time, his devouring speed increased by many folds while the injuries on his body recovered rapidly. In a few seconds, his bony arm completely healed. Even the broken ribs healed. The power of the immortal nirvana body was evident. Crack, crack, crack. 9 more bolts crackled. 9 bucket-sized lightning bolts fell. Yi-Mo didn't use any means this time. He just punched disperse. The lightning still struck him. Thud, thud, thud. The lightning struck Yi-Mo again, but it could only break his skin. It wasn't able to hurt his flesh, nor bones. Yi-Mo's power rose like crazy. Great Unity Immortal Primary Stage. Great Unity Immortal Primary Stage peak. The immortal essence in his body was like the ravaging waves of the sea, restless and endless. His meridians were sturdier and wider. A light crack sounded. Yi-Mo knew he reached Great Unity Immortal Middle Stage. Other people would take countless years to reach this, but he reached it with one divine damnation. Yi-Mo sighed. He probably wouldn't have any more lightning. He desired more lightning arcs to come down, but he knew that once he was benefiting from the divine damnation, it would disappear. It wouldn't even have the rainbow spirit clouds. Indeed, as soon as Yemo devoured the 9 bolts, the sky grew clear again. There was no rainbow spirit cloud reward. Yemo was certain that the reason the first wave was 3 bolts instead of 9 wasn't because the divine damnation didn't want to kill him, but there must be some law preventing it from doing so. Otherwise, it would be 9 bolts in the first wave for sure. Even without the immortal spirit chi rainbow cloud, Yemo recovered rapidly. In just half a minute, his body was without marks, just a sleek and perfect body. Yemo didn't open his eyes now. He was still devouring the immortal spirit chi nearby. He still needed to consolidate his power. After a while, Yemo raised his hand, and a rumble sounded out of nowhere. A lightning bolt, half the width of a bucket, was released. It was like a thick spear and landed a few km away in the desert. Rumble. The lightning spear pierced into the desert, creating a sandstorm. Yemo smiled. He didn't learn a lightning god art in the Tao-seeking tower, but after that terrifying divine damnation, he did. This god art would be called lightning sand. It had nothing to do with sand. It was just like a spear, but because Yemo created in the desert, he called it lightning sand. Yemo looked up. He believed that one day he would charge above the 33 heavens, and no matter who was attacking him like this, he wasn't going to let him have it. He cleansed himself before changing into a new set of clothes. Then Yemo flew out of the ditch. Chapter 1706, Chaos Tree. Chapter 1706. Chaos Tree. Nearly 100 million immortal crystals had disappeared. Yemo packed away the formation flags and looked back at the big ditch. He waved his hand, and the sand outside were blown into the ditch, instantly filling it up. A day later, there was not a single mark anymore. Yemo didn't leave the desert. He found another place to go underground. In the Golden Page world, Yemo took out the cracked octagonal cauldron. He felt even though he was immortal nirvana body, he would need a defensive magic artifact. The octagonal cauldron was cracked. Yemo's spirit sense searched it carefully and realized why he could only control 5 levels of restrictions. This octagonal cauldron only had 5 levels of restriction. The cauldron was called Octagonal Jia Cauldron. It was only a replica. Even a replica was this powerful. One could imagine how powerful the real octagonal cauldron would be. Yemo sighed. Even if he had the materials, he wouldn't be able to forge something this powerful. Yemo suddenly thought of Guan Feijian's drum. That drum was this powerful, but it was cracked by the world rock. It probably wasn't the original too. Moments later, Yemo took out that drum. The crack was still there. Yemo scanned his spirit sense in. The inside seemed to be a little different. If the drum was fine, Yemo might spirit control it because its sound attacks were too powerful, but it was damaged now. Yemo knew he wasn't able to repair it, so he just pulled off the 2 faces of the drum. A black jade slip was inside. Yemo casually took it and found it was made of bamboo. The black bamboo was countless times harder than ordinary jade slip. Yemo was certain this black bamboo was a good forgery material. Yemo scanned his spirit sense in. The words were clear. The person who gets my How Heaven heritage must kill Dragon River Grand Emperor, Blood Cauldron Grand Emperor, Feng Kong Grand Emperor for me. If you can't do it, your heart demon will burn you to death. Yemo sneered. He couldn't even be bothered to keep reading. He let out mist, lotus heart fire, and turned the jade slip into dust. No matter who that How Heaven was, nor how powerful his heritage was, he's dreaming to make him swear. Even though he wasn't affected by heart demon, Yemo didn't want to make such an oath. Without question, those 3 grand emperors were very tricky people. Yemo didn't think he would be able to kill those 3 by getting How Heaven's heritage. Plus, he didn't even know the 3. Why should he kill them? Crack. When the jade slip cracked, a light orb flew out of the jade slip. Yemo was shocked and wanted to burn everything with fire when the orb made a sound. Ha ha ha. Great, great. Since you won't accept you, you destroy it. Very decisive. I like young people like you. Who are you? Yemo stared at the ball and asked coldly. He wasn't worried. This was his golden page world. It was his domain. He wasn't going to be scared of an essence spirit that didn't have any offensive capabilities. Such dense chaos, chi wait, you actually have chaos world, and the bitter bamboo you, who are you? The voice asked, forgetting why it came out. Mo sneered, you have 3 seconds. If you don't answer, then die. Wait. The voice woke up. He knew it wasn't time for him to be asking questions. I'm How Heaven, one of the 4 grand emperors of the 11 grand heaven domains. This orb just has a sliver of my essence spirit on it. It has no threat to you. The jade slip is my heritage. You crushed the jade slip, meaning that you don't a hypocrite. I have something to ask, the voice quickly said. Mo nodded. He knew this guy was right. The light orb was indeed just a sliver of essence spirit and had no threat to him. The light orb would soon self-destruct. Sorry, I won't make any oath. I wanted to let you go, but you know about my golden page world. Unlucky you. Mo said calmly. Even if this thing didn't know about his golden page world, he wasn't going to let it go. The light orb smiled. Even if you let me out, I would dissipate soon. But don't worry. Originally, you can only get my heritage if you made the oath, but you have Chaos World and one of the 10 great spirit items. I'm certain your future will be unlimited. I won't need you to swear, and I'm willing to give my heritage to you. I just ask you to do one thing for me. Mo said calmly. How Heaven, perhaps you think your heritage is great, but unfortunately, I'm not interested in your heritage, and I know my capabilities are limited. I'm not able to kill some Grand Emperor for you. I'm not asking you to kill Grand Emperor. I'm one of them. Grand Emperors are powerful, but that's just within the 33 heavens. Outside the 33 heavens, there are Tao Vindication Divine Emperors. A mere Grand Emperor is nothing. The voice sounded dejected. Oh. Mo was interested now. He knew of the Tao Vindication seed, and knew that after Immortal Emperor, it was Tao Vindication. He also knew that above the 33 heavens there existed powerful beings, but he didn't know just how powerful they were. Tell me about those Tao Vindication Divine Emperors. Who are they? I heard that Tao Vindication Divine Emperor need primordial chaos seeds, and because the heaven and earth are incomplete, one escape, one of the 10 primordial chaos seeds are gone. So there can only be 9 divine emperor in the universe, right? Mo asked. How Heavenside, your meaning is right, but the words are wrong. I'm not a divine emperor, and I can't guess the state of divine emperor, but I know there's less than 5 Tao Vindication divine emperor in the world. The primordial chaos seed can indeed allow Tao Vindication, but I'm guessing not a single one used it. There's not 10 seeds, there's only one. The seed appeared with the universe and disappeared. The 9 other are bullshit. The primordial world is unique. How can there be 10? Mo was speechless. That Pungandang tricked him and spoke as if he believed it was real. Was he really that good at acting? Or did he not know as well? Mo shook his head, and just when he wanted to ask about Tao Vindication Divine Emperor, he suddenly thought of another thing. He waved his hand, and the barrier formation was opened up. He pointed at the small sapling he got from the cultivation realm and asked, How Heaven Grand Emperor, help me see what this is? This. The figure shaked so much that it was almost about to collapse. Mo quickly used a few spells and stopped the orb from dispersing. You actually have Chaos Tree. How Heaven's essence spirit was completely agitated. What is Chaos Tree? Mo was a little excited too. Hoof, How Heaven let out a long breath and spun around Mo as though bowing. Then it said to Mo, you have Chaos World, one of the 10 great spirit items, bitter bamboo, and the Chaos Tree. You're someone of great fortune in the future. In the future, the light orb didn't say what Yemo's future would be. Mo coughed and said, What is the Chaos Tree? You still haven't told me. How Heaven's voice grew serious. It could even be considered respect. He said word by word, Chaos Tree is also called Universe Tree or Tree of Life because it grew from a primordial chaos seed. What? Yemo got up in shock, and after a while he said in disbelief, "You're saying I got the only primordial chaos seed in the universe?" Rats indeed. But your chaos tree isn't yours yet, as it hasn't considered you as master yet. If you expose any bit it, you will die. No one can resist not robbing this from you, not me as well. How Heaven sighed. How could he not know this? How to make it recognize me as master? Yemo asked. You can't make it, it automatically will. After it recognizes a master, it will protect the essence spirit of its master for eternity. There may be a way to force this, but I don't know. How Heaven's essence spirit answered. You can't make it, it automatically will. After it recognizes a master, it will protect the essence spirit of its master for eternity. There may be a way to force this, but I don't know. How Heaven's essence spirit answered. Yemo was speechless. If he didn't rob the tree, how would Lu Jingchuan make it recognize him as the master? You're a person of great fortune. Since you can get the chaos tree, you must be approved by it. Being its master is of no rush. Plus, your chaos world is incomplete. How Heaven comforted. Yemo smiled. Thanks for answering these questions, but you don't need to ask me to help you kill a few grand emperors. I'm only a small, great unity immortal. I don't have that courage. How Heaven quickly said, I know your future won't be ordinary. I just want you to help me with something that has nothing to do with the other 3 grand emperors. Tell me. Yemo nodded. If he could, he wouldn't mind helping. I have a grandson called Songjia. I want you to bring my heritage to him. Of course, if you can't find him, then never mind. How Heaven said. Yemo thought for a moment and said, I can help you with this, but I won't spend time searching for him. I have too many things to do myself. I can only promise that if I see him, I will give it to him. Of course, if you see him, then do it. If not, then after you become a grand emperor, just send a news and Songjia will come for you. How Heaven said. Yemo knew that grand emperor was at least immortal emperor peak and had enough people to respect him to give him this title. But he deigned think of becoming a grand emperor. They were usually a heaven domain lord or an overlord of a region. I was originally Yuan Dong Heaven Domain Lord. There's only me, Dragon River, Fong Kong, and Blood Cauldron, who are grand emperors. I was ambushed by them for something. A sliver of my essence spirit escaped, but it's not enough to turn the tides. Even my magic artifact has been detonated, but How Heaven Drum is still there. Along with it is a few top grade immortal range, and an extreme great immortal range. What? You have a few immortal range? Yemo asked. He really didn't care about summit heritage, but he could not care about immortal range. This was a necessity for cultivation. To him, if he didn't have immortal range, he couldn't even progress. Using immortal crystals for cultivation was too much of a waste unless he had extreme grade immortal crystals. Seeing this, How Heaven was happy too, and felt a little helpless. Anyone would be overjoyed of getting a grand emperor heritage, but Yemo, this strange person, crushed it without even looking at it. If he wasn't prepared, his heritage would be over. He was furious when Yemo did that, but after seeing Yemo's wealth, he realized that compared to this small, great unity immortal, he was a beggar. In reality, those immortal range were the least valuable in How Heaven's eyes, but it was these things that interested Yemo. If he knew this earlier, he would have collected more immortal range, and then tricked this kid to be his disciple. Indeed, I have a few top grade immortal range, and one extreme grade immortal range, but they can move, and I don't know if they are still there after all these years. How Heaven wanted Yemo to go as early as possible. Yemo nodded. He knew this, but even for immortal range, he wasn't going to place himself under danger. Seeing Yi Mo calm down this quickly, how heaven sighed. This kid wasn't simple. No wonder he could get all these things. The most precious thing inside is the Emperor Dao crystal. It has my experience and Dao will for becoming immortal emperor. If an immortal monarch can get it, there's 60% chance he can become immortal emperor, how heaven said while watching Yi Mo's facial expression, but he found that Yi Mo was lacking interest. How heaven was speechless. He was planning to let Yi Mo give it to his grandson, but Yi Mo's disinterest dealt a great blow to his confidence. I know, let's talk about the location. I'll go have a look when I'm free. Yi Mo nodded. It's on the Will Mountain in Yuandong Heaven. The danger there isn't for ordinary people. When your power is there, you will know. After my essence spirit dissipates, it will turn into a will bead. You can take it and find the heritage ground. I see. Yi Mo lost interest. Yuandong Heaven was Grand Heaven Domain. He was still in Middle Heaven Domain. When his power was high, he would go down to find Lu Jingquan. Who knows when he would be able to go? One thing, do you know Qing Wei Heaven Wei Feng, Immortal Emperor? Yi Mo asked. He was thinking about how he was ambushed at the Chaos Star Realm. Wei Feng, Immortal Emperor, stole Wu Shuang, Immortal Emperor's woman, and them ambushed him. Wu Shuang, Immortal Emperor, escaped into the Chaos Star Realm and disappeared. I've heard of this person. He's a Wan Bei. How heaven nodded. Wan Bei? He's the Heaven Lord of Qing, Wei Heaven now. Yi Mo said. How heaven sighed. He's actually Qing, Wei Heaven Heaven Lord. Where did that Hong Yu Immortal Emperor go? How would I know? Yi Mo asked. How heaven fell into a long silence. When you become Immortal Emperor, you need to be careful of Feng Kong Grand Emperor. He acts as the weakest amongst the 4 Grand Emperors, but he's actually the most sinister of them all and the strongest. If you fight with this person, don't talk much with him. Just kill him. If you're no match for him, run as far away as you can. Don't play tactics with him. Feng Kong Grand Emperor? Yi Mo frowned and felt this name was familiar. I have nothing to stay for. I'm about to leave. One last word for you. Even if you're Immortal Emperor peak, don't expose Chaos World nor the Chaos Tree, because the power of Divine Emperor isn't something an Immortal Emperor can even imagine. With this, how heaven's essence spirit faded and disappeared. A Longan-sized pearl fell into Yi Mo's hands. Yi Mo suddenly realized and remembered Feng Kong Grand Emperor. It was what the woman called the middle-aged man in the Dao-seeking tower Samsara Dao. Seeing this bead, Yi Mo just remembered he still had a lot to ask this guy. What was above Dao-seeking tower level 7? Where did the Dao Vindication Divine Emperor stay at? Yi Mo shook his head and put away the bead and the drum while taking out Time Formation Disc. He set it on the refined immortal palm and then took out another 100 million immortal crystals. He was going into solitary cultivation. He knew now was the best time to quickly improve his power. How heaven was right. If he exposed any of this, he would be dead. If he wanted to live, there was nothing but cultivation he could do. He still had 6 due Luo Heaven Fruit, but Yi Mo knew he just reached Great Unity Immortal Middle Stage. He needed to stabilize his power and then use the fruit. The Time Formation Disc ran like crazy, and top-grade immortal crystals disappeared one by one on the disc. Fenggang Immortal City. This was the biggest city in Hongyu Heaven, but it wasn't very famous. Today, the city was surrounded by rainbow clouds and immortal music. Countless immortal beasts flew around. Today was the day to celebrate the day of Lu Jingquan Heaven Lord reaching status immortal. Lu Jingquan reached Immortal King half a year again. Because he did things with justice and transparency, he was titled Gentleman Immortal King. In a secret room in the city lord estate of Tiangang Immortal City, a short-bearded, white-faced man stood with his hands behind his back. A great Unity Immortal stood next to him. After a while, he asked, "How many did you find?" In a secret room in the city lord estate of Tion Gang Immortal City, a short-bearded, white-faced man stood with his hands behind his back. A great Unity Immortal stood next to him. After a while, he asked, "How many did you find?" The great Unity Immortal replied, "Two. One of them won. Another is called Uzesian. She's very powerful. She killed a hollow Immortal Peak stage with hollow Immortal Middle Stage power and fled out of Hungyu Heaven. There's still no news of him." Humph. The middle-aged man said nothing. Hearing this, the great Unity Immortal shivered and quickly said, "But I've brought over that one. Bring him in," the middle-aged man said. "Yes," the great Unity Immortal answered, and immediately left. Soon he brought in a hollow Immortal. One greet master. The hollow Immortal knelt down straight away and didn't even dare to look up. The middle-aged man said amicably, "No need to be like this. Sit up. I'm from Luo Yu Continent too. It's been countless years, but now I finally see immortals from Luo Yu Continent. I feel very happy. You can cultivate safely in Tian Gang Immortal City." "Thank you, master," Wenwen said in excitement. "MHM," the middle-aged man asked, "which sect do you come from?" "I came from Ice God Palace." "Oh, then do you know Luo Yu Continent Demon Realm?" "I heard of it, but it's not a place ordinary people can go in." However what? The disappointed man immediately lit up. Wenwen quickly said, "I heard that Nanchan Heaven's demonic prison Forbidden Grounds opened up. I heard it's related to Demon Realm, but I don't know if it is really so." "Very well, I've been there too. Tell me about the situation there." "Who went in?" the middle-aged man asked. Wenwen said respectfully, "I was going to go there, but as soon as I got to South Peace State, I felt the divine damnation. I really longed to come to the immortal realm, so I ascended." When ascended when Langing was asking for help, he didn't dare to speak of the real situation. If it wasn't that this man could easily find out he came from Ice God Palace, he wouldn't even dare to say it. The middle-aged man's face sunk. This one knew nothing. Little did he knew that almost anyone from South Peace State knew about EMO, but Wenwen didn't, as he was always in solitary cultivation. The great Unity Immortal came in and bowed master. Master Gigi came. The middle-aged man got up and said, "Invite him in." Then he said to Wenwen, "You can go. If there's any news from Luo Yu Continent, report to me. If you encounter Luo Yu Continent cultivators, you must invite them here immediately." Yes, Wenwen left with the great Unity Immortal uncomfortably. After the two left, the middle-aged man clenched his fist. "No matter who you are, I, Lu Xingchuan, will suck your soul and refine your blood for touching what is mine." If Lu Xingchuan still had some concern about searching for Luo Yu Continent cultivators before, now he didn't as he reached Immortal King. Moments later, a long-haired skinny man walked in. When he saw Lu Xingchuan, he quickly bowed. "Gigi, greet Immortal King Master." "Ha ha, Master Gigi, please have a seat. We're good friends. No need to be like this. Regardless if I'm Immortal King, you're my friend." Lu Xingchuan laughed. Gigi smiled and sat down. He said, "The person with karma between City Lord is no longer in the lower heaven domain. If I'm not wrong, he's gone to the middle heaven domain. Can you specifically point out which heaven domain he is in?" Lu Xingchuan asked desperately. Gigi Master shook his head. "I can only calculate that he left from Gong Hua Heaven. You can probably find the recent immortal ships that went to Middle Heaven Domain from Gong Hua Heaven." Okay. Lu Xingchuan. Yuan Le Heaven West Barren Lands. This was the second year after Yi Mo had divine damnation. Only a few low-level immortals came occasionally. Underground, Yi Mo still used the time formation disk to devour the refined immortal well. He had devoured so much immortal spirit chi that the pond water was nearing the bottom. He had devoured more than half of the 100 million immortal crystals. At this moment, his power was infinitely close to Great Unity Immortal Tertiary Stage. The thick immortal essence rustled in Yimo's body, and with the three-birth chant, there was a loud rumble. Crack. The powerful immortal essence flowed in his body. Yi-Mo knew he reached great unity immortal tertiary stage. The pond water had been used up. Yi-Mo put away the time formation disc and got up from the immortal pond. He gave a Luo heaven fruit to Zhenbingyu. He still had 5. Yi-Mo didn't plan to use them. In fact, Yi-Mo could use the fruit to reach great unity immortal peak stage and then break through to great extreme immortal, but Yi-Mo didn't feel this was good. His power had increased fast enough. According to the outside time, he only used less than 2 years and reached from abstruse immortal tertiary stage to great unity immortal tertiary stage. Although he spent far more time in the time formation disc, this was still too fast. The reason he could be this fast was due to large amounts of cultivation resource and the 3-birth chant. That blue-robed status immortal said his greatest achievement would be golden immortal. Now, he had passed countless golden immortals. However, his talent wasn't high, and if he just kept trying to break through without consolidating his power, it might have the opposite effect. Yi-Mo stopped cultivation and started forgery. He took out Zissou. Zissou's grade was too low. If he didn't upgrade it, he wouldn't be able to release the full power of moves like Rainbow. After seeing Guan Feijian's How Heaven Drum, he realized how important magic artifact was to people. If he had a magic artifact that could stop the How Heaven Drum, he wouldn't need space law to kill Guan Feijian. He had prepared quite a lot of materials to upgrade Zissou, including level 6 Immortal Material 1000 Blade Sand, and level 7 Immortal Material will Illusion Crystal, Phoenix Gold. The last 2 were top-grade material amongst level 7. Ordinary people would never use it to upgrade a low-grade immortal artifact, but Yi-Mo was willing. No precious material was as precious as Zissou. As he let out Mist Lotus Heart Fire, all the materials started to melt. Yi-Mo found that luckily his Mist Lotus Heart Fire had reached Purple Nirvana, or it would take forever to melt these materials. 15 minutes later, the materials started to melt. The hardest Phoenix Gold was also melted to liquid and slowly poured onto Zissou. Zissou started to distort. Yi-Mo instantly saw the process of Zissou being upgraded. He closed his eyes. He was captivated by this. Moments later, he couldn't help shooting in forgery spells into Zissou. He didn't even realize he was upgrading Zissou, nor did he realize that Zissou didn't need his help for the first time. Zissou kept on transforming and made crisp sounds, but Yi-Mo didn't notice at all. 3 days later, Zissou suddenly flew up from Yi-Mo's hand and rang in the air before slicing across the air in the golden page world in a purple ray. Instantly, there was a deep mark on the empty ground. Yi-Mo just woke up from that state. He felt he fused what he learned about forgery at the Tao-Seeking Tower with Zissou's upgrade process. Seeing the purple long sword hanging above, Yi-Mo realized that Zissou had finished upgrading. Yi-Mo waved his hand, and Zissou landed in his hand. There were ripple waves on the handle. The sword showed a royal metallic purple color. It didn't look like a kitchen knife at all anymore. Such a beautiful sword. Yi-Mo couldn't help praising. Zissou seemed to have heard this and vibrated in response. Zissou had reached level 6 peak immortal artifact. It was almost like half a level 7 immortal artifact. Yi-Mo believed if he was a top-grade forgery grand master, then Zissou would definitely become a level 7 immortal artifact. Zissou had reached level 6 peak immortal artifact. It was almost like half a level 7 immortal artifact. Yi-Mo believed if he was a top-grade forgery grand master, then Zissou would definitely become a level 7 immortal artifact. After putting away Zissou, Yi-Mo gave up the thought of using Sky Mobility Gold to upgrade Blue Moon. Zissou was only level 6 peak, meaning that his forgery skills lacked a bit. Since he was an immortal forgery grand master, he didn't need to upgrade Blue Moon and waste the material. Blue Moon was equivalent to level 6 flying immortal artifact. If he can't bring it to level 7, it was pointless. This time, Yi-Mo took out Blue like Morning Sky. Blue like Morning Sky was faint purple color. With this many 7 refined stones, Yi-Mo could Nirvana Blue like Morning Sky at any time. But Yi-Mo didn't do this. He just took out a 5-color 7 refined stone and put it near Blue like Morning Sky. Immediately, it was swept away by the flame. The flame rumbled and went from faint purple to deep purple in a while. Yi-Mo didn't keep feeding more stones to it. He knew that if he did, then Blue like Morning Sky would Nirvana. 7 refined stones were good, but Blue like Morning Sky's Nirvana was too important to Yi-Mo. Mist Lotus Heartfire was the ordinary flame Yi-Mo used, but Blue like Morning Sky was different. It was a trump card. He needed to Nirvana it with the best thing. The best thing was Astral Flame Marrow, but it was worth a fortune, and even Immortal Emperor weren't able to get it easily. But Yi-Mo got that soft tofu stone from the Cultivation Realm's Flame Sea Forbidden Grounds. He didn't even dare to touch it with his spirit sense when he was Truth Realization State. Yi-Mo always suspected that it was Astral Flame Marrow. He tested it with Mist Lotus Heartfire. Perhaps Mist Lotus Heartfire was too low grade, or it wasn't Astral Flame Marrow. Mist Lotus Heartfire couldn't devour the stone. Now he is great unity, immortal power, and Blue like Morning Sky was time for Nirvana, so he took out that soft or again. Yi-Mo opened the box made with extreme flame star gold. Before, he spat blood as soon as his spirit sense touched the ore. Now, his power was thousands of times stronger. His spirit sense should be able to go in. As soon as his spirit sense touched the ore, there wasn't the terrifying feeling like before. Yi-Mo relaxed a little and reached deeper. Suddenly, an extremely terrifying flame shot out. Yi-Mo felt his sea of consciousness in pain. It was as though that soft or had endless flame inside. His spirit sense was swept in before even nearing the center. If this continued, that flame would soon burn his sea of consciousness. Not good. Yi-Mo wanted to take back his spirit sense, but he found that he couldn't. He lost some spirit sense every time he felt pain. Yi-Mo spat another mouthful of blood. Yi-Mo quickly threw the box along with the ore into Blue like Morning Sky. Rumble. Blue like Morning Sky bursted into the sky and dashed out of Yi-Mo's palm. It floated in the air and kept jumping around. Beams of blue light shot out of the flame, illuminating the entire Golden Page world in blue. Yi-Mo's face was pale as he retreated a few hundred meters away. He found Shadowless also staring at the rolling blue in worry. Yi-Mo felt he did something bad and quickly took out formation flags, setting up a few defense formation for Bitter Bamboo and Chaos Tree, before hiding at the border of the formation with Shadowless. Blue like Morning Sky released such power after devouring that possibly Astral Flame Marrow thing. This was too shocking. Drops of golden liquid fell from Blue like Morning Sky's flame. Yi-Mo's spirit sense captured it. It was the melted extreme flame star gold. It seems Blue like Morning Sky was very picky. It threw away the metal but tightly surrounded the tofu. The flame rolled bigger and bigger, and Yi-Mo's face went worse. If this terrifying flame neared, his immortal spirit herb garden and Bitter Bamboo would all be destroyed. Yi-Mo tried to contact Blue like Morning Sky, and found in surprise and joy that his spirit sense could contact Blue like Morning Sky without resistance. This meant that his flame didn't leave his control after devouring the tofu. Yi-Mo told Blue like Morning Sky to go further. Indeed, Blue like Morning Sky flew away. The flame jumped with extreme excitement. Clearly that tofu was very important to Blue like Morning Sky. 7 days later, Blue like Morning Sky finally stopped jumping and shrunk. It was like a lotus flower that was half open. It floated in the air, and when Yi-Mo waved his hand, Blue like Morning Sky immediately landed in his palm. There was a faint golden rim around the flower, while the center was extreme blue. The flame sent Yi-Mo a joyful will, letting Yi-Mo understand that blue like morning sky was still his, but it was purple nirvana level 1 now. Unlike Mist Lotus Heartfire, blue like morning sky still had some crisp blue color, and blue like morning sky used 7 days, while Mist Lotus Heartfire only used 1 day. It seemed blue like morning sky was much more powerful than Mist Lotus Heartfire. Yi-Mo closed his eyes and communicated with blue like morning sky, but blue like morning sky's level was too low. It could only feel that it devoured something good, but couldn't tell if it was astral flame marrow or not. Yi-Mo could only let this go. Blue like morning sky's nirvana was very important for Yi-Mo. If he used blue like morning sky for Heaven Flame 9 Suns, it would be many times stronger than Mist Lotus Heartfire. All he needed to do now was to keep improving his spirit sense and immortal essence power. Yi-Mo decided to use blue like morning sky as the main offensive flame, while using Mist Lotus Heartfire for pill concoction. Yi-Mo threw 10 more 5-colored 7 refined stone into blue like morning sky. Blue like morning sky opened up the flower bud, devouring them. The stones were very important for Yi-Mo. He could use it to cultivate Heaven Flame 9 Suns, but blue like morning sky just went through nirvana. Yi-Mo loved this flame a lot. When blue like morning sky devoured 25 5-colored, 3 6-colored, and 1 7-colored stone, it had upgraded to purple nirvana level 3 flame. 3 faint golden rings formed around the flame. Yi-Mo knew that once the purple was completely gone, blue like morning sky would turn back to blue again. At that time, it would become an immortal flame. Then the fire spirit of the flame would be able to communicate with him. Yi-Mo didn't keep wasting 7 refined stones. He knew that even if he gave blue like morning sky all he had, it wouldn't become immortal flame. Yi-Mo was very satisfied as he put away blue like morning sky. What he earned at Yuanlu Heaven was unimaginable. It seemed he didn't need to keep staying here. He had used up his resources, and now he needed to find more. Now, Yi-Mo even wanted to go to Yuan Dong Heaven and find how Heaven Emperor's immortal ranges. If he could, then he would be able to reach Great Eternity Immortal Peak stage. After leaving the Golden Page world, he didn't leave the ground immediately. He waved out that stone tablet and 6 floorboards from the cultivation realm and set up formation. These were set up by Lu Xingchuan in the demon prison Forbidden Grounds. There were runes inside. Yi-Mo knew Lu Xingchuan wasn't going to let him go, so he placed these things underground. If Lu Xingchuan had the power to find his way here, then congratulations, these things were his. If Lu Xingchuan came here, he would be blasted by his explosion formation. Yi-Mo didn't expect it to kill Lu Xingchuan, but it would be enough to infuriate him. As soon as he flew out of the West Barren Sands, Yi-Mo saw 2 great Unity Immortal. When they saw Yi-Mo fly out of here, they were a bit suspicious. As soon as he flew out of the West Barren Sands, Yi-Mo saw 2 great Unity Immortal. When they saw Yi-Mo fly out of here, they were a bit suspicious. But then they both showed a surprised look. Yi-Mo frowned. Before he asked, one of them said to the other, "Brother Luo, I'll send Brother Laishan to meet up here. How about it?" The other nodded. "Yes, tell him to be quick, otherwise people will get here first." Then the great Unity Immortal sent out a messenger flying sword. The messenger flying sword wasn't ordinary and had a sliver of black ray. Yi-Mo felt things weren't right, but he didn't know what was. But after the messenger flying sword was sent out, Yi-Mo immediately knew what was wrong. He didn't say anything and chose a direction to run. After a few hundred km, Yi-Mo stealthed and used a few instant transmissions while changing his direction. If he had the time, he would kill the 2 great Unity Immortal without hesitation, but he didn't have time. He knew the two wouldn't be able to find the right direction. When the two showed a look of surprise when they saw him, clearly they recognized him. Then they quickly sent a message out. They must be asking for help. Even if the two had seen him in the New Immortal City, they wouldn't be this shocked. Clearly, it meant that he was wanted, and there were paintings of him at other immortal cities. As for their conversation, Yi-Mo knew it was bullshit. To Yi-Mo, it must be he immortal king to have this special means. The messenger flying sword was special. Perhaps it was given out by he immortal king. If he knew he was in West Barren Sand, then where would he go? If he was blocked by an immortal king in one corner of the heaven domain, even a great eternity immortal wouldn't be able to get away. It was because of this that Yi-Mo flew without even killing the two great unity immortal. He didn't believe he would be able to evade Immortal King in the Golden Page world. If the Immortal King found the Golden Page world, he would be over. So the only thing he could do now was quickly charge out of Immortal King's spirit sense range. Then he would have a sliver of hope. Of course, he hoped his judgment was wrong, or an Immortal King wasn't coming. He seems to have noticed, should we chase? One great unity immortal looked at where Yi-Mo disappeared and asked. The other great unity immortal sneered, Chase? How do you compare with Guan Feijin? We're great unity immortal, but Guan Feijin can still kill us. Meanwhile, this guy can kill Guan Feijin. Plus, if I'm not wrong, he's a great unity immortal too. Doesn't that mean he can easily kill us? Then what you did? Yes, but we were finding friends to find a place. He has no excuse to kill us. Plus, after sending that message, Chong Xian, Immortal King Master, will come quickly. We don't need to chase. We just need to remember the direction he disappeared. What if he changes directions? It's only a possibility he realized, but if he really did, then he would definitely kill us. So, we just need to wait here for Immortal King Master. Wealth is earned in danger. We be successful as long as we provide where he is. In less than 2 hours, a black-faced man landed here. The two great unity immortal quickly bowed, Greet Chui, Qing Immortal King. The man nodded. You sent out Chong Xian, Immortal King's messenger flying sword? Did you see Mo-ing? Yes, Immortal King Master. We just passed here and saw Mo-ing come out of the West Barren Sand, and then flew east. One great unity immortal quickly answered and pointed at where Yi-Mo disappeared from. The black-faced Immortal King nodded and left in the direction Yi-Mo disappeared. In less than 5 minutes, the Immortal King came back to the two great unity immortals. Terrifying killing intent seeped out of his body. The two great unity immortal couldn't take that killing force and shivered. They even knelt on the ground, saying shakily, Chui Ching, Immortal King Master. Humph, how dare you trick me? With my speed, I didn't catch anything within 5 minutes. This meant that he didn't leave from east. The Immortal King said with dense killing intent. The Immortal King seemed to have caught a space ripple and stepped out. The two great unity immortals shivered. They didn't even dare to get up after the Immortal King disappeared. The two glanced at each other, feeling perhaps they shouldn't have done this. Yi-Mo didn't even dare to use Blue Moon and just kept using mobility art. Even tens of millions of km was a short while for Immortal King, but he needed to fly for half a day. This concerned his life. He didn't dare to be careless. After another 5 minutes, the black-faced Immortal King stopped. He realized how cunning Yi-Mo was now. That space wave was just Yi-Mo's trick, a spirit sense mark. This meant that those two great unity immortal were probably tricked by Yi-Mo. A mere abstruse immortal is this powerful. No wonder Guan Feijin would lose to him. Such spirit sense mark, he might even have spirit sense cultivation method. The black-faced Immortal King sneered and changed a direction. Yi-Mo fled very far, but he didn't feel safe at all. The same time his spirit sense mark disappeared, Yi-Mo stopped and dashed into the earth as quickly as possible and went into the Golden Page world. Yi Mo knew that it was very dangerous to go into the Golden Page world now. It might be captured by Immortal King's spirit sense, but he had no choice. When his spirit sense mark was swept, he knew an Immortal King came. If he kept running, then he would fall into Immortal King's spirit sense after he chased the other directions. Yi Mo could only try to hide the Golden Page world as much as possible. If he was still caught by Immortal King like this, then it was fate. Yi Mo didn't hide for very long, and a terrifying spirit sense swept over. It didn't even let go of underground, but it didn't find the Golden Page world. However, the Golden Page world felt that spirit sense. Even in the Golden Page world, Yi Mo held his breath. After that spirit sense scanned over, Yi Mo didn't come out. After another 5 minutes, Yi Mo dashed out of the Golden Page world and released Blue Moon and flew. He was gambling. He didn't know if the Immortal King gave up on this direction, but he had no choice. This is so strange. A mere abstruse immortal really ran outside of my spirit sense range. The Immortal King frowned and sent a few messenger flying swords. His flying sword was different. It could be received if someone was still in Yuan Lu Heaven. He didn't believe that an abstruse immortal would be able to escape the hunt of a few Immortal Kings after knowing the approximate location. Yi Mo sped Blue Moon like crazy while recovering immortal essence. Once it was recovered, he would use mobility technique. Once he was tired, he would get back on Blue Moon. Yi Mo knew that he had to escape Yuan Lu Heaven as quickly as possible, although it was a bit difficult to go into the void. Without Heaven Domain immortal ship, he might even lose his life. He knew that if he didn't go into the void, he would have no chance at all. His tracks were exposed. He couldn't hide in Yuan Lu Heaven, no matter how big it was. He, Immortal King, could lock down all the ways he can escape within a day, or even less. If he, Immortal King, locked the path into the Heaven Domain void, there would be nothing he could do. He burned his essence blood like crazy and used mobility technique like crazy. In less than a day, he saw the Yuan Lu Heaven Domain void. He rejoiced that he chose West Barren Sands to have his divine damnation. It was near the Heaven Domain void. Seeing the void, Yi Mo flew in without hesitation. The Heaven Domain void wasn't the most dangerous to Yi Mo. The most dangerous was the moment that he entered the void. Even his immortal nirvana body wasn't able to take it. If anyone could go in the void casually, then there would be that much danger. The Heaven Domain void wasn't the most dangerous to Yi Mo. The most dangerous was the moment that he entered the void. Even his immortal nirvana body wasn't able to take it. If anyone could go in the void casually, then there would be that much danger. Usually, other than immortal ship, there were special areas to enter the Heaven Domain void. Yet, Yi Mo went into the void. At a place that one couldn't enter, he immediately felt the terrifying tearing power of the void fissure. Yi Mo knew clearly that this tearing force wasn't something he could take. He went into the Golden Page world without hesitation. He couldn't care. He would go wherever the Golden Page world was taken to. After Yi Mo went into the void, Cui Chung Immortal King locked all the positions to enter into the Heaven Domain void. He was just 1 hour slower than Yi Mo. Are the Heaven Domain void locked? Chong Xian Immortal King asked immediately when he arrived. He knew that with Yi Mo's power, he could only run to the void. He knew Yi Mo would certainly die in the void, but he couldn't allow Yi Mo to die easily. Yes, I've locked down all exits. If he dares to go into the void, he would know immediately and stop him before he does. Cui Chung Immortal King answered. Chong Xian Immortal King nodded. Search this place. Even if we flip this place upside down, I'm going to find him. Chong Xian Immortal King brought tens of great eternity immortal and 6 immortal king to find Yi Mo. Even an ant would be found, much less Yi Mo. Plus, he, Immortal King, received news, and were coming over too. Chang Xian, Immortal King, wasn't worried about He coming over. He only wanted the replica How Heaven Drum. He didn't want anything else. He knew Yi Mo probably had some secrets, but what secret could compare with How Heaven Grand Emperor's heritage? A few hours later, in the West Barren Sands, there was a huge explosion at where Yi Mo had solitary cultivation. Chang Xian, Immortal King, and them came here immediately. What happened? Chang Xian, Immortal King, immediately asked. The injured Great Unity Immortal said, I found a stone tablet and a few stone boards underground. When I went to take it, it activated an explosion formation. Mo Ing probably set this up. Chang Xian, Immortal King, frowned. Why did Yi Mo set up explosion formation underground in the desert? Did he have nothing to do? Search that tablet. Chang Xian, Immortal King, immediately ordered. He would take whatever move Yi Mo left here. Yi Mo, meanwhile, had spent 6 days in the Golden Page world. Every time he sent out a surveillance formation, it showed that he was still in void chaos flow. Thus, he could only keep staying in the Golden Page world. A month later, Yi Mo left the Golden Page world and stood in the void again. Last time, he was here with Shin Bingyu, but now he was by himself. However, at least he escaped the hunt of Immortal King. He didn't know where he was, but he was sure it probably wasn't far from Yuanla Heaven. Yi Mo wasn't afraid. He had a way to escape in the void. He took out a void flying snow. Half a minute later, a void flying snow took Yi Mo and disappeared in the endless void. It flew faster and faster until it merged with the void. Even an Immortal King won't be able to capture it with spirit sense easily. Yi Mo didn't cultivate now. He used the 7 refined stones to refine his heaven flame 9 suns. 5 months later, Yi Mo came out of the Golden Page world and put away void flying snow. He knew he had completely lost sense of direction. He didn't know where this was. The heaven domain void was boundless, countless times bigger than the 33 heaven domains combined. Yi Mo didn't have enough cultivation resource here, nor a sense of direction in the void, but he wasn't worried. He started collecting asteroids to refine void secret silver. After a while, he would let the void flying snow drive again while he practiced forgery in the Golden Page world. He couldn't forge top-grade immortal artifact yet. He could use this time to study immortal forgery. However, he didn't have enough materials for practice. The materials in the Golden Page world were his battle loot. They were all top grade, and he wasn't willing to use it for practice. Plus, he didn't have a lot of them. The void had the most void secret silver. If he could capture enough, he could practice. During this time, Yi Mo encountered void immortal spirit beast packs and void asteroid storms. 2 months later, he had collected a large pile of void secret silver. The grade wasn't very high, but Yi Mo didn't care. During this process, Yi Mo found his refining abilities grew better and better. If he released blue like morning sky, he could melt an asteroid very quickly and refine the silver out. Yi Mo even got tens of beautiful void diamond jade. They were prettier than ordinary jade and came in all sorts of colors. They were the best ornaments for female immortals and could also be made into defensive magic artifacts. At the 3rd month, Yi Mo stopped collecting void secret silver. He had enough for a while. The materials were low grade, but if he could forge low grade materials into high-level immortal artifact, then that was skill. Just when Yi Mo wanted to go into the Golden Page world and let void flying snow drive, he found in shock that there was a heaven domain immortal pill in his spirit sense. It was enormous but seemed minuscule compared to the void. I finally donned Thave to travel alone in the void. Yi Mo knew that not all immortal ships were shameless like the one he first took. This immortal ship stopped in the void, clearly to collect asteroids. Yi Mo sped up towards the ship. He had already prepared his story. He would say he was collecting asteroids, and then encountered an asteroid storm and missed the embarking of the ship. But when Yi Mo neared the immortal ship, he noticed things weren't right. This ship was too quiet. It didn't have a sliver of life force. In other words, this was like a ghost ship. Yi Mo was a great unity immortal and slayed countless evil spirits and ghosts. He wasn't scared of these things. But in the eerie silent void, a heaven domain stopped in eerie silence too was indeed eerie. If an accident happened, this ship shouldn't be so well preserved. The decks were still open as though waiting for the immortals to come back. Yi Mo stopped. Ghosts weren't scary, but there were too many things scarier than ghosts in the void. He didn't want to go in and die. He didn't plan to give up on the ship. He couldn't take it, but if something really happened, there would be plenty of treasure on the ship. He might even be able to find a void location disk. Yi Mo hid his power carefully and flew onto the deck of the first level without resistance. Standing on here, Yi Mo just felt everything was too silent. Yi Mo scanned his spirit sense in carefully. It was empty, but all the facilities were perfectly fine. Yi Mo scanned his spirit sense in carefully. It was empty, but all the facilities were perfectly fine. Yi Mo broke into a few luxury-looking places with his spirit sense blades, but there was still no one inside. Yi Mo carefully walked forward a step. He made no sounds, but this voice rang in the bottom of his heart. Yi Mo stopped again. If there really was nothing on this ship, it wasn't worth him taking the risk. His spirit sense went back to the first level, and there was still nothing. There would at least be a mortal king protecting a heaven domain ship. Even if there's someone powerful enough to kill a mortal king, it wouldn't leave 0 marks. Even so, it wouldn't just leave an immortal ship here. Suddenly, there was this sensation from the bottom of his heart. Yi Mo walked forward 10 more steps. There was this desperate feeling telling him to go deeper into the ship. The deeper he went, the more intense that feeling was. When Yi Mo scanned with his spirit sense again, he found there was just storage ring, high-level ores, magic artifact, pills cultivation method, and so forth scattered everywhere. However, he didn't see these things before. Yi Mo couldn't resist the excitement in his heart and sped up. If he took all of these, he would only need to focus on cultivation. But after 10 steps, Yi Mo suddenly stopped. Yi Mo woke up with the use of 3-birth chant. Did he need to be this excited? He had plenty of good things. These pills and cultivation method were nothing. He had seen much better things than these before, and he wasn't this excited. Yi Mo's heart shivered. He forcefully stopped himself from going forward, and then released his spirit sense blades. He found that everything he had seen before had disappeared. It was just an illusion. This ship isn't not right. Yi Mo shot out a spirit sense mark and instant transmission out to the deck without hesitation, going back out. Yi Mo even had the feeling that when he was about to leave, the ship restriction was about to close, but his instant transmission was too fast, and the ship wasn't able to do so in time. Looking strangely at this silent ship, Yi Mo's heart was skipping fast. That feeling was too strange. If he didn't have the bitter bamboo, he would have gone into the depth of the ship. Yi Mo subconsciously retreated a few km before stopping. He really didn't want to leave a big ship like this without getting anything. Void mist came. Yi Mo had a strange feeling that this ship was about to disappear, but when he checked with his spirit sense, the ship was still here. Yi Mo frowned. When his spirit sense scanned in again and looked at the silo, Yi Mo was shocked. This was the first time he had seen so much void secret silver. They were stacked up in mountains. No matter how eerie this ship was, Yi Mo wasn't planning to let go of these void secret silver. But would they be fake? Yi Mo used the 3-birth chant again, and when he was certain he was very awake, he hacked over with a few spirit sense blades. The spirit sense blades fell on the silver as though they were real. This wasn't an illusion. Yi Mo retreated a few thousand meters back before opening up his spirit sense domain, ensuring there were no spirit sense scanning at him. Then he took out a bitter bamboo leaf and set up a few restrictions on it before placing it in his mouth. Yi Mo had decided to take those void, secret silver. The bottom deck was usually for immortals with little immortal crystals. This deck was also called the refinery. The door to the bottom deck was also wide open. Yi Mo thought for a while, but eventually didn't go in to risk it. He really wanted the void, secret silver, but what if he entered and the ship shut? Wouldn't he be dead? Yi Mo wouldn't be able to open a shut heaven domain ship in a quick while. Who knows what would happen during that time? Yi Mo eventually decided to find an escape plan first. He retreated a few hundred km and found a huge asteroid. Yi Mo used formation to stop this asteroid while setting up formation on the asteroid. He was going to set up a simple teleportation formation. Yi Mo's idea was simple. If he couldn't leave the ship in time or the ship closed, he would be able to teleport out. Then Yi Mo used materials to forge a formation disk. This was the benefit of being an immortal formation great master. In a shut immortal ship, runes were useless, but teleportation formations were useful. After setting all this up, Yi Mo used stealth formation to hide the asteroid before nearing in on the ghost ship. Yi Mo would never want to go in here if he didn't see all that secret silver. He felt there was this invisible power controlling this ship. Yi Mo didn't hesitate this time and dashed to the bottom deck as quickly as he could and put the mountains of void, secret silver in his storage ring while retreating. This entire process only took about a few seconds, but when Yi Mo wanted to leave, he found the doors were really shut. Before he could use the teleportation formation disk, the place became boisterous. Walking sounds, yelling sounds, talking sounds. Yi Mo scanned his spirit sense out, but saw nothing. Were these things even souls? The spirit sense mark he left on the top deck clear saw countless people walking about, and they all seemed to be coming to the bottom deck. Even Yi Mo felt his skin crawl. He used the teleportation formation disk without hesitation while connecting his spirit sense to the time formation disk. There was an ear-screeching sound. Yi Mo felt his essence spirit was about to cripple. He was about to abandon the teleportation formation disk and charge into the deck, but the clear sensation emitted by bitter bamboo made him wake up instantly and activate the teleportation formation disk like crazy. Instantly, the teleportation formation disk was completely activated and swooped Yi Mo away. At the same time, an invisible shadow swept past the place Yi Mo was at before, and the instant Yi Mo left the time formation disk, Yi Mo left there also disappeared. Yi Mo felt uncomfortable all over his body. There seemed to be this terrifying power dragging him back to the ship. He used mobility technique on the asteroid without hesitation. This ship was too eerie. If he knew there were all these things inside, he would rather not have the void, secret silver. The instant Yi Mo used mobility technique, he felt a powerful pulling force as though trying to pull him back. This wasn't just a material pulling force, it was also pulling his essence spirit and soul. Even though Yi Mo used his immortal essence, he couldn't break free from this force. The spirit sense mark he left felt the deck open again, as though waiting for him to go back in. The strong calling acted on Yi Mo's soul and essence spirit. Yi Mo was certain that if he didn't have the bitter bamboo leaf nor the three-birth chant, he would have charged inside already. But there was no way he was going to go in now. The constant clear sensation from the bitter bamboo kept Yi Mo's essence spirit and soul awake. He tried very hard to break free from that force, but even so, Yi Mo felt he was going back and getting closer and closer to the ship. His spirit sense couldn't even see what power was pulling him. The only thing he could do was use spirit sense blades and burn his immortal essence to break free. A void fissure appeared in Yi Mo's spirit sense. Usually, Yi Mo would as far from that as possible. The Heaven Domain Void Fisher was far from something the Cultivation Realm Void Fisher could compare with. A Void Fisher appeared in Yi-Mo's spirit sense. Usually, Yi-Mo would as far from that as possible. The Heaven Domain Void Fisher was far from something the Cultivation Realm Void Fisher could compare with. But now, Yi-Mo couldn't care. He instant transmissioned into the Void Fisher without hesitation. Yi-Mo couldn't instant transmission very far with the terrifying pulling force of the ship, but it was barely enough to let him make it into the Void Fisher. The instant he went into the void, his spirit sense scanned the ship head and saw 3 black words, Ghost Ship. Yi-Mo didn't have the mood to think about it. The instant he went into the Void Fisher, cracking sound came non-stop. In a very short breath, a few of his bones cracked. Void winds tore through his skin like it was rags. This was just less than a second. If this continued longer, Yi-Mo would have been turned to pieces. However, he was in the Golden Page world now. At the same time, the Golden Spot Golden Page world was swept away by the Void Fisher. Yi-Mo breathed heavily in the Golden Page world. The Golden Page world saved him again. Without it, he would have died countless times. He was covered in wounds, but Yi-Mo felt assured. The Void Fisher would take him to some unknown place, but in the Golden Page world, he was safe. The immortal Nirvana body couldn't stop the ravaging of the Void Fisher, but it could allow Yi-Mo to recover quickly. A few days later, Yi-Mo had completely recovered and walked around the Golden Page world with after fear. He felt it was too risky what he did before. That ghost ship was this terrifying. Yi-Mo waved out piles of void, secret silver. Some of them have even reached level 7 immortal grade. Yi-Mo threw out a few surveillance formation discs, wanting to see if he was still in the Void Fisher, but soon he found that he needed to see outside. Before, he would need surveillance formation discs to see outside the Golden Page world. Otherwise, he would only have an obscure feeling, but now he could see very clearly. It was a mess outside, space tearing, dispositions were everywhere. It was still extremely dangerous Void Fisher. Yi-Mo took back his spirit sense and ignored the situation. He had this many void, secret silver. He had plenty of things to do. He didn't need to care where the Golden Page world was. He would just go out when the Golden Page world was in a safe place. Time passed unknowingly while Yi-Mo studied immortal forgery. The mountains of void, secret silver were forged into all sorts of immortal artifact by Yi-Mo. However, it had only been 3 months outside. Yi-Mo could forge level 7 immortal artifact now. When half a year had gone by outside, Yi-Mo could use level 6 void, secret silver, to forge top-grade immortal artifact. Yi-Mo was certain that if he had the materials, he could even forge level 8 immortal artifact, but he didn't have level 8 immortal material. Half a year later, Yi-Mo put away the time formation disc. It could be used to study, but when he was forging his favorite magic artifact, it was best not to use it. He had too much void silver before. Even after non-stop forgery for decades, he still had a small mountain left. This small mountain were all level 7. Yi-Mo left it for the World Rock. The World Rock was extremely powerful, and with the Tai Mountain Crush God art, he would be using it quite often. However, the World Rock had a lethal flaw, and that was people could easily recognize what it was made of. After forging so many void, secret silver, Yi-Mo had an idea. He would cover the World Rock in void, secret silver. This way, it would increase its power while not exposing it. The purple Nirvana level 3 blue, like morning sky, melted the void silver rapidly and refined it to a very high purity. As layers of silver liquid were tipped on the World Rock, it was slowly covered. A month later, the small mountain of void, secret silver disappeared, and the World Rock had a thick layer of dark silver cloak. Yi-Mo's spirit controlled his World Rock again. Half a day later, a small waiting stone the size of his palm appeared. It was done. Yi-Emo looked at this world rock and was very satisfied. Now he could use it without restraint even before Immortal King. Yi-Emo immediately took out his level 7 Material Sky Mobility Gold and upgraded his Blue Moon. With a few pairs of Shadowless Vulture main feathers added too, Blue Moon was upgraded to level 7 Flying Immortal Artifact. Seeing this, Yi-Emo sighed. When Lu Wuhu forged his Blue Moon for him, he would have never expected it to become a top-grade immortal artifact. Only a few decades had passed. He wondered where Lu Wuhu was now, and if he ascended to the immortal realm yet. Yi-Emo also reforged that octagonal cauldron replica. It should be able to be used in crucial times. With all these things done, Yi-Emo scanned his spirit sense out again. He found that the outside environment seemed much better. At least there were much less void dispositions and weaker void storms. After leaving the Golden Page world, Yi-Emo just realized that the environment was still dangerous but no longer lethal. Yi-Emo didn't go into the Golden Page world but instead let out void, flying snow. It had the ability to avoid danger in the void and was countless times faster than his top-grade flying immortal artifact. A month later, Yi-Emo put away void flying snow. He knew that it was pointless to let it keep flying. He had left danger, but he was probably still not even out of the void fissure. If he didn't leave the void fissure and go into the heaven domain void, it was pointless to let the void flying snow fly for 100 years. It wasn't easy to go from void fissure into the heaven domain void. It was either he had the power to tear open this void, or he could find another void fissure to go out. He wasn't able to do either of those. Tear the void. Probably not even a mortal monarch could do this. The void here was very stable, not something the cultivation realm could compare with. As for leaving through void fissure, Yi-Emo didn't want to. He was mere immortal nirvana body. He would probably be torn to pieces before even getting close to it. Perhaps he could go into the Golden Page world and test his luck, but he didn't believe he would be that lucky. Yi-Emo collected his mood and studied the environment around him. In this situation, there was one more possibility of going out. That was body refinement. If his body refinement reached a level, he would be able to leave through void fissure. The void fissure was suitable for body refinement, whether it was in the cultivation realm or the immortal realm. Yi-Emo started to find small void storms to refine his body. At the start, he was desperate, but slowly he forgot he was still in the void fissure. From small void storms to large ones, and then asteroid flows and void whirlpools. As Yi-Emo's body refinement kept improving, he also changed places. 3 years later, Yi-Emo's cultivation level didn't progress, but his body refinement reached immortal nirvana body peak stage. He was just one step away from immortal spirit body. This void fissure was perfectly set up for body refinement. Yi-Emo had decided to leave here first. He would find a better place to break through to immortal spirit body. Just when Yi-Emo wanted to release Blue Moon, he found a very rapid figure pass in his spirit sense. Yi-Emo saw clearly that it was a person. Just when Yi-Emo wanted to release Blue Moon, he found a very rapid figure pass in his spirit sense. Yi-Emo saw clearly that it was a person. There were people here. Yi-Emo was dazed, but then he immediately rejoiced. This meant that he would be able to know where this place was now. Yi-Emo quickly used a mobility technique to go over. That person was going fast, but he wasn't intentionally flying away. 5 minutes later, Yi-Emo saw that figure and greeted with his spirit sense. As Yi-Emo expected, that person stopped. It was a great eternity immortal. Yi-Emo saw this person's power before even going up to him. Immortal friend, hello. Do you have business with me? The great eternity immortal saw Yi-Emo was only a great unity immortal, and his eyes showed a sliver of confusion. but he still greeted Yi Mo first. This great eternity immortal didn't have any attitude towards a great unity immortal. This made Yi Mo have a great impression of this person. He quickly saluted with his fists. Immortal friend, I accidentally came into the void fissure, and I still haven't been able to find a way out. Did you come in here by accident too? You came into the void fissure accidentally? The great eternity immortal stared at Yi Mo in shock. Void fissure's most terrifying part was the same as a heaven domain void when it was first entered. It wasn't something ordinary immortals could handle. If someone forcefully went in, he would be torn apart. Yet, Yi Mo said he came in awkwardly. Yi Mo touched his head in an awkward manner. I came with a heaven domain immortal ship to collect asteroids, but then there was a void fissure. Luckily, I had a top-grade protection rune, and I'm a low-level body refinement cultivator. That's how I survived. So that's it. The great eternity immortal breathed easy. Then he continued, this is a place where many people come for body refinement. I'm a body refinement cultivator too, but unlike you, I was teleported in. There's a teleportation formation here. Usually, body refinement cultivators teleport here for body refinement. I thought you were teleported in here like me too. Yi Mo rejoiced. There was a teleportation formation into void fissure for body refinement. This was the first time he had heard of such big means. Which powerful being did this? With a teleportation formation, didn't it mean he could go out at any time? Thinking about this, Yi Mo saluted with his fists and asked, Immortal friend, where is the teleportation formation? The great eternity immortal said, it's a bit far from here. You haven't been there before, so it will be hard to find it. I've only been here for a few years, so I can't go out with you. The people here are very scattered, so it's hard to find someone. Everyone has a void location disk, but I only have one, so I can't lend it to you. Yi Mo quickly said, it's fine. May I ask when a mortal friend would go? I'm going to practice body refinement as well, so I'll stay with you. I'm Yi Mo. Of course, if it's not convenient for you, then just tell me the exact location, and I'll have a look myself. The great eternity immortal laughed. Of course it's convenient. If you don't mind, then come with me. I'm Ji Shu. I'm planning to go to Endless Flame River to break through. We can go together. By the way, you're immortal nirvana body, right? If not, you can't go in. Yi Mo nodded. Thank you, Brother Ji. I'm already immortal nirvana body. Not simple. Ji Shu raised his thumb to Yi Mo. After chatting with Ji Shu for a while, Yi Mo felt this person was good. He was easy to talk to and didn't act condescending because he was a great eternity immortal. Both were immortal nirvana body, and they spoke as they traveled. They didn't slow down at all, and instead went faster and faster. Ji Shu was amazed that Yi Mo could keep up with his speed and applauded Yi Mo again. By the way, Brother Ji, which heaven domain did you come from? Yi Mo couldn't help asking. He hoped he was further away from Yuan, Lu Heaven. I'm from Changrong Heaven. What about you, Brother Yi? Ji Shu said. Changrong Heaven. Yi Mo was shook. He didn't expect to have come to a grand heaven domain from the void fissure. What's wrong? Ji Shu looked at Yi Mo in confusion. Yi Mo rejoiced and said, I came from a middle heaven domain. I didn't expect walking in the void fissure for a few years brought me to a grand heaven domain. Life is really full of the unexpected. This is very normal. You're very lucky. Some people may never be able to come to a grand heaven domain from a middle heaven domain, but you can so easily. Ji Shu smiled and said. Yi Mo smiled bitterly. There were so many times he almost died. It wasn't easy at all. In these 2 days, the two chatted very nicely. Ji Shu found that Yi Mo knew many things he didn't understand about body refinement. What shook him was that Yi Mo's body refinement level was higher than him. He was immortal nirvana body middle stage, but Yi Mo was tertiary stage. Yi Mo didn't say he was peak stage. He knew Ji Shu was here to break through immortal nirvana body middle stage. Once he reached immortal nirvana body tertiary stage, Jishu would leave and he could follow. So when Jishu asked about body refinement, Yemo told him everything he knew, hoping Jishu would break through earlier. Yemo was the perfect teacher since he cultivated the three-birth chant, and in a short 2 days, Jishu's understanding of body refinement increased a level. He was very grateful and said to Yemo, "Brother Yi, if you don't know anything about cultivation, just ask me. I won't hide anything from you." Jishu felt his cultivation level was higher than Yemo, so he would be able to help him. Yemo didn't make him feel bad and asked him a few slightly harder questions, making Jishu feel great. 3 days later, the three stopped. Yemo was dazed. This was the first time he saw such a terrifying flame river. It was endless and dark red. The waves rose into the sky. No wonder this place was called the Endless Flame River. Yemo could feel the scorching heat at the side. If one went in, wouldn't he turn to dust immediately? This is the Flame River. We're only immortal nirvana bodies, so we can only stay at the border of the river. You must remember not to go into the river. The temperature inside is terrifyingly high. Not even someone with an immortal spirit body can go in, Jishu said. Yemo nodded seriously. Yemo took out a communication bead and said, "Brother Ji, we'll each go find a place to cultivate. If you finish, then tell me. I can leave at any time." "Okay, we'll do that. You're a good person, Brother Yi. When we get to Chongrong Heaven, I'll introduce you some friends. We can practice together. It's very useful." Jishu patted Yemo's shoulder. The two bid farewell, and each chose a direction. Yemo walked along the river a few hundred km before choosing a rather calm place to enter. As soon as he entered, the terrifying heat wave came over him. His clothes were instantly turned to dust. In just 1 second, Yemo could smell burnt flesh. Yemo didn't dare to keep thinking and immediately used his body refinement cultivation method. He didn't understand how Jishu entered such place. He shouldn't be able to go in. However, this place had dense immortal spirit chi and endless flame river waves. It was indeed the best place for body refinement, as Yemo used his body refinement cultivation method. He slowly forgot he was in the flame river. The bones and blood in his body were refined once again. The burnt skin slowly turned red, and then back to its original color, while Yemo felt his skin and bones rapidly growing stronger. Crack, crack after that sound. The immortal essence and blood in his bloody flowed clearly. Moments later, the sounds lowered, and the temperature around him seemed to have dropped a lot. Immortal spirit body, Yemo soon knew that he indeed reached immortal spirit body. This was such a good place, Yemo couldn't help sighing. If it was some other place, it would take some time. But here he didn't even feel it, and he was immortal spirit body. When Yemo continued to devour immortal spirit chi, he felt that he needed to break through again. If he didn't break through, there was no point in cultivation. When Yemo continued to devour immortal spirit chi, he felt that he needed to break through again. If he didn't break through, there was no point in cultivation. But how could he break through here? He didn't have immortal crystals or immortal ranges. He had extreme xia pills, but that wasn't enough. He needed immortal spirit chi too. Yemo knew that after his divine damnation finished, there wouldn't be a rainbow immortal spirit chi cloud. Jishu was a good person, but he was still in body refinement. Even if he wasn't, Yemo was too embarrassed to ask a person he just met for immortal crystals. Plus, he needed a few 100 million. Yemo thought for a long while and eventually decided to have his divine damnation here. His body refinement was now immortal spirit body. If he could set up a spirit gathering immortal formation here, perhaps the immortal spirit chi from the river was enough. At this moment, Yemo was some distance away from the river. He planned to use a few top-grade materials to forge formation flags, but when he saw the ores at the bottom of the river, he immediately changed his mind. He hadn't seen the ores before, but he knew they would definitely be sturdier than the materials he used for formation flag. The river was too hot, the formation flags might get melted. Guillermo picked up the ore and immediately knew it wasn't ordinary. At least it was on par with void, secret silver. He also found the redder they were, the higher their level. In just half a day, Guillermo found more than 10 of these nearby. With these materials, Guillermo forged formation flags even faster. The spirit-gathering immortal formation had been set up. Guillermo was helpless. If he had enough immortal crystals, he definitely wouldn't have his divine damnation here. Even though he was immortal spirit body, this wasn't a good idea. Thus, Guillermo had no choice but to rest his hopes on the immortal spirit chi here. He even set up 3 joined spirit gathering immortal formation. After eating the extreme xia pill, Guillermo sat at the bottom of the river and started to break through to great extreme immortal. The speed at which the 3-birth chant devoured immortal spirit chi was terrifying. In a short while, the nearby immortal spirit chi rushed over to Guillermo like crazy. The area almost increased to 10,000 square kilometers. The most immortal spirit chi actually came from the bottom of the river. With the spirit gathering immortal formations, the immortal spirit chi was pulled up. Guillermo was very shocked. What was in this river? There was such dense, immortal spirit chi. If he had such immortal spirit chi during his divine damnation, he didn't need to worry at all. After resting easy, Guillermo devoured immortal spirit chi even faster. The immortal spirit chi here had a faint red color, but Guillermo felt this immortal spirit chi was more useful in expanding his meridians and empowering his immortal essence. Clearly, the red-colored immortal spirit chi was of higher quality than ordinary immortal spirit chi this time. The divine damnation came very slowly. 3 entire days passed, and only then was there a deep rumbling in the sky. Before Guillermo got up, 36 bucket-width lightning bolts smashed open the river. Guillermo dared to charge against 9 lightning bolts when he just reached Great Unity Immortal. Now, these lightning bolts weren't much stronger than before. Guillermo wasn't going to be scared. The next moment, he was out of the river and released Lightning Sword. His fist greeted the lightning bolts too. As for the World Rock and Zisu, Guillermo didn't even release them. At the West Barren Sands, he was ravaged by the bucket-sized lightning bolts. Now that he was immortal spirit body, it was his turn. Crack, 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 the black lightning sword struck the lightning bolts. Meanwhile, Guillermo punched lightning bolts, splitting them apart and causing endless rumbling sounds in the air. The waves of the Flame River were extremely loud, so this sound was immediately covered. The rest of the lightning bolts all struck Guillermo. Guillermo's immortal spirit body skin was burnt by the bolts of lightning, but all Guillermo knew was to devour the lightning source like crazy. His body wasn't affected at all. A few years ago, when he reached Great Unity Immortal, 6 bolts almost killed him, but now he took 36 bolts unaffected. Each of these bolts were stronger than those 6 bolts combined. Even Guillermo felt his power and body refinement were good indeed. If he didn't reach the immortal spirit body, he would be abused again. Ha ha ha! Seeing that the lightning bolts couldn't hurt him, Guillermo laughed and stood on top of the endless river like a god while waiting for the divine damnation to rain down. The dense, immortal spirit chi nourished Guillermo, making him feel very comfortable. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Guillermo just devoured the 36 bolts when another wave of thunder sounded. Guillermo stood on a flame wave and charged over. Another 36 bolts fell. Guillermo punched 9 times consecutively. He really wanted more lightning bolts to fall, but this divine damnation wasn't good enough. The lightning spark shone again and was swept away by the terrifying flame waves. 2 waves, and a total of 72 bolts fell. Yi Mo's power rose drastically. Just one more wave, and he would reach great extreme immortal for certain. Yi Mo knew clearly that as long as he didn't break through, the divine damnation couldn't leave. So, despite knowing that it couldn't do anything to him, it still had to keep falling. Indeed, the 3rd wave of divine damnation fell. However, this time, there were only 9 bolts. He couldn't even be bothered stopping it and just took the blow. Rumble the immortal essence inside, Yi Mo's body underwent qualitative change, and his sea of consciousness expanded again. Feeling this powerful immortal essence power, Yi Mo knew he was great extreme immortal now. From now on, he wouldn't fear any immortal below status immortal. This was his confidence. Just when Yi Mo thought there weren't going to be more divine damnation, the space above his head crackled again. Yi Mo looked up in shock. These bolts fell down one by one. It looked like there was a lot, but it would only benefit him. Why did it keep falling? According to his understanding of divine damnation, if he broke through, there wouldn't be any more. Today seemed a bit irrational, but soon Yi Mo cast these thoughts aside. The more bolts, the better it was for him. Yi Mo focused on devouring lightning source and refining his lightning sword and lightning sand. When the last bolt disappeared, Yi Mo actually saw immortal spirit chi cloud fall down. What happened? Did the divine damnation change personality? It was willing to give him rainbow, immortal spirit chi cloud. Regardless, the cloud was very good. It had extremely dense immortal spirit chi and a sliver of Tao law inside. 5 days later, Yi Mo stopped cultivation. He benefited quite a bit this time from divine damnation. He put away the spirit gathering immortal formation. The heart of the river had such dense immortal spirit chi. Clearly there was something good, but his power was too low. He wouldn't be able to reach the center. When his body refinement power is high enough, he would come back to have a look. Yi Mo stood on the river surface feeling very good. Waves of flames brushed past him, but Yi Mo didn't feel them at all. These waves couldn't pose a threat to him anymore. Instead, he felt this flame river was a beautiful scene, and he was just enjoying this beauty. Watching the waves follow one after another, it was like he was the controller. Controller? Yi Mo had a sudden enlightenment. After a long while, he suddenly opened his eyes and punched. This wasn't void, this was a new punch. After this punch, the waves instantly stopped. Yi Mo's punch punched out flames like the flame wave, but this flame was blue. 3 consecutive waves of blue flame, each one higher than the other. These flames covered the flame river. Second fist god art, wave kill. Taking back his fist, the 3 waves disappeared. Yi Mo looked at his fist. His heart was full of surprise and joy. He didn't expect to suddenly create this god art, fusing this flame wave and blue like morning sky. Reaching great extreme immortal and immortal spirit body primary stage, as well as creating a new god art, wave kill, even Yi Mo was satisfied with himself. His power had increased many times since he left Yuanlu heaven. Reaching great extreme immortal and immortal spirit body primary stage, as well as creating a new god art, wave kill, even Yi Mo was satisfied with himself. His power had increased many times since he left Yuanlu heaven. Now that he was at a grand heaven domain, he would be able to cultivate till great eternity immortal peak stage if he found how heaven grand emperor's heritage. He had seen an immortal king's power. Although he knew that even when he was great eternity immortal peak stage, he might not be a match for an ordinary immortal king, he believed that it wouldn't be easy for an immortal king to kill him once he was great eternity immortal peak stage. Yi Mo stopped cultivation. He practiced body refinement in the river while searching for those red ores. He felt they were good things. Soon, 1 year had passed, and Yi Mo left further and further from the riverbank. His body refinement powers soon stabilized at immortal spirit body primary stage. He found more and more red ores, and even a few extremely red ones. At this moment, the communication bead sounded. Yemo knew it was Jishu calling him. It had been 2 years. Jishu probably reached immortal nirvana body tertiary stage. Yemo soon left the river and saw Jishu with a joyful face. Brother Ji, congratulations on reaching immortal nirvana body tertiary stage. Yemo saluted with his fists. Jishu was clearly in a good mood, but then he looked at Yemo dazedly and asked, Brother Yi, your great extreme immortal power now. Yemo nodded. Yes, I've been at great unity immortal peak stage for many years. Now that I reached great extreme immortal, it's just all past effort. Jishu didn't know how many years was many years. He thought it was a few millenniums. So he congratulated. That's good. We both acquired something here. I reached immortal nirvana body tertiary stage and got a few good endless flame river gold. Endless flame river gold. Yemo was dazed and then took out a few ores he picked up to Jishu. You're talking about this? You have it too? Yeah, this is endless flame river gold. It's very valuable. Your ones are all level 6 immortal materials. If you can get level 7 ones, then people would be fighting over each other to buy them even in the immortal cities. Congratulations, Brother Yi, you're quite lucky, Jishu said. Yemo thought that he had collected a large pile after all these years. If he sold them for immortal crystals, he should be able to get a lot, right? The endless flame river gold are in the depths of the endless flame river. The brighter red they are, the higher their level. Usually, immortal nirvana body people can only get level 6 endless flame river gold. If you want to get better ones, you would have to go deeper. But then you would at least need to be immortal spirit body, Jishu said. Yemo nodded. He didn't take out his level 7 ones. Since they were useful, he would learn what their use were first. By the way, Brother Yi, something seemed to have happened a year ago at the Endless Flame River. Did you notice it? Jishu asked. What thing? Yemo asked in confusion. Jishu said seriously. A year ago, I suddenly felt the immortal spirit chi become volatile as though being swept away. This lasted for a few days, and there were lightning sounds too. The lightning sounded more terrifying than an immortal king, divine damnation. I was scared there was some powerful immortal spirit beast having its divine damnation nearby. I wanted to alert you, but I was afraid of offending that immortal spirit beast. Luckily, you're fine. Seeing Yemo in a daze, Jishu quickly said, Usually if you don't mess with immortal king level immortal spirit beasts, they don't attack you. Other than a rare few hot-tempered ones, most wouldn't go kill immortals casually. Yemo let out a long breath and nodded. I understand. He didn't expect Jishu to have thought of him as an immortal king, immortal spirit beast, but Yemo didn't tell him the truth. Let's go. We'll fly to the teleportation formation. There are void fissures and space storms everywhere here. It's not good to use flying immortal artifacts, Jishu said and flew. Yemo had spirit sense domain, but since Jishu said it was bad, he could only follow behind him. The two talked as they went, conversing body refinement experience. Soon, Jishu found that even though he was immortal nirvana body tertiary stage, Yemo still knew much more than he did about body refinement. Half a month later, the two came to an asteroid platform that was a few thousand km wide. The asteroid was frozen in place by a huge formation. There were some cultivation homes on the asteroid and few simple merchant towers with immortals walking about. There are only body refinement cultivators here. Almost all the body refinement immortals of the 11 grand heaven domains come here. Even so, some immortals still die here each year. Sometimes they die due to natural disasters, sometimes due to body refinement failure, Jishu explained and sighed. Yi Mo sighed too. If he didn't have Golden Page World, he would have been gone already. The journey of cultivation was extremely hard. One mistake, and your soul and body would be gone. Jishu brought Yi Mo to a big palace. There was nothing else but a teleportation formation here. A great eternity immortal sat expressionlessly next to the teleportation formation. Brother Yi, it costs 20 million top-grade immortal crystals each time. Jishu saw Yi Mo had no intention of taking out immortal crystals and reminded, "What? This much?" Yi Mo was dazed. Even heaven domain teleportation formations didn't require that much. Jishu smiled bitterly. Brother Yi, this is a grand heaven domain. This is only the price to exit. The price to enter is even higher. If you don't have enough immortal crystals, I can lend you. Yi Mo felt his nose and said, I have immortal crystals, but I just didn't expect it to be this high. Then Yi Mo took out his only 20 million immortal crystals. With this, he was broke again. Body refinement was indeed not for the poor. 10 million immortal crystals was countless years of savings for a great extreme immortal. These powerful beings really knew how to earn money. Just how much were they able to earn each year? Jishu clearly was no ordinary person to be able to come here. It cost this much to come in. People clearly would want to stay longer. Perhaps Jishu left early for him. Thinking about this, Yi Mo saluted with his fist. Brother Ji, you spent this much immortal crystals, and you only stayed inside for a few years. I really feel ashamed. Jishu smiled. I didn't plan to stay inside for long, anyways. Brother Yi, we get along really well. I consider you my friend. No need to mention this anymore. Perhaps you will be able to help me in the future. Jishu felt Yi Mo wasn't ordinary, and he really did want to be friends with Yi Mo. He was planning to stay a few extra years, but due to Yi Mo, he left early. Plus, he really didn't care about tens of millions of immortal crystals. Yi Mo nodded. Okay, I have some confidence in forgery. If Brother Ji needs me to forge something, you can come to me. Yi Mo thought he could forge level 8 immortal artifacts. He might really be able to help him. Humph, arrogant. 2 immortals behind them heard this, and one of them sneered. A good immortal forgery, great master, took countless years. Yi Mo didn't seem very old. Jishu pulled Yi Mo into the teleportation formation. Let's go. Jishu didn't mention forgery either. Clearly he felt Yi Mo could at most forge ordinary middle-grade immortal artifacts. This was nothing to a great eternity immortal. Plus, what immortal artifact didn't his family have? Yi Mo smiled. He wasn't going to do anything even if Jishu didn't pull him. Leaving the teleportation formation, they came to a planet-like place, and then took the teleportation formation back to Chongrong Heaven. When they got there, 1 month had passed. Brother Yi, what plans do you have? Jishu asked. He felt that Yi Mo knew a lot of things, and his understanding of cultivation wasn't something that his other friends could compare with. I'm planning to go around Chongrong Heaven and then leave, Yi Mo said. Jishu said hospitably, Brother Yi, if you don't mind, come with me to Fei Xia Immortal City. I have many friends there. I can introduce them to you. I believe you will soon get their recognition. My father is Yi Yang Immortal King City, Lord of Fei Xia City. He's great friends with Chongrong Heaven's Heaven Lord. Your father is an immortal king and a city lord? Yi Mo repeated in shock. Chapter 1717. Familiar Female Immortal. Chapter 1717. Familiar Female Immortal. Jishu smiled. Yes, but I never rely on my father. I have what I have today purely through my own effort. Of course, other people might give me some help on my father's account. Yi Mo believed his words. Jishu could go into the void, fisher alone for body refinement. This meant that was different than other city lord young masters. Okay, let's go to Fei Xia Immortal City then, Yi Mo agreed. Yi Mo had seen immortal cities of low, and Middle Heaven domains. The first time he saw by Immortal City, he was overwhelmed, and eventually when he saw Nua Immortal City, he didn't think much. But coming to the face Immortal City, he felt he came from the countryside. Even the immortal spirit chi outside the city was extremely dense. For someone who was used to middle and low heaven domain immortal spirit chi, he really wasn't used to this. The city gates were 300 meters wide, and the city walls couldn't be touched by spirit sense. He knew there was a city wall, but didn't know how high nor what it was made from. Yi Mo knew this must be due to a top-grade formation. After entering the city, what caught Yi Mo's attention the most wasn't the immortal spirit chi, but all the merchant towers. Many signs were made by top-grade immortal jade. Some doors were also ornamented with all sorts of top-grade immortal materials. The streets here were at least 10 times wider than in a Middle Heaven domain immortal city. Yi Mo found that the immortals going in and out of the merchant towers all wore good quality immortal artifact clothes. They were pretty and defensive magic artifacts. Is everyone in Grand Heaven domains this wealthy? Yi Mo asked in shock. Haha, this is all just superficial. In the Grand Heaven domain, if you don't dress well, people will look down on you. Many people wear all the fortune they have on them. Don't admire them. Jishu patted Yi Mo's shoulder. Yi Mo shook his head. So the main theme of Grand Heaven domain immortal cities was to compare wealth. This was a bit too low. For the real wealthy immortals, their clothes on the outside was nothing. The real treasure was their inner armor. Jishu, a coarse voice sounded, and the two looked up at the same time. It was a square-faced immortal. He's also Great Eternity Immortal Tertiary Stage. Haha, I wanted to find you guys, but as soon as I came back, I met you all. Jishu smiled and pulled Yi Mo over. Yi Mo saw 3 men and 2 women coming over. Yi Mo stared at one extremely beautiful female immortal and was dazed. He felt she seemed familiar, but she didn't seem very hospitable, nor did she have much expression. Clearly, there was something on her mind. She wore a blue fitted immortal dress with a long flute on her back. Her looks were on par with Sun Ran Goddess. Yi Mo was confused. He should know this person, as he felt she was familiar. Brother Yi Mo. Seeing Yi Mo stare at that female immortal without blinking, Jishu felt a little awkward. He pulled Yi Mo and wanted to laugh. Brother Yi knew a lot, but probably hadn't come in contact with pretty goddesses before. He would introduce a few to him later. Humph, that thin-eyed Great Eternity immortal already saw what Yi Mo did and grunted to show his dissatisfaction. Yi Mo woke up and realized his rudeness. He quickly took back his gaze and saluted with his fists. It's my first time seeing such a pretty goddess. My apologies. Brother Ji, your new friend, is really interesting. Great. Some people who know they are being rude wouldn't dare to say it. I'll make this friend. It was another Great Eternity immortal. He was extremely handsome and had a golden fan in his hand, showing his scholarly look. Haha, let me introduce, Jishu said. Yi Mo, this is Chi Baitsung, Ping Liang Immortal City's young city lord. It's said he's a goddess killer. Any goddess he's interested in would eventually fall into his hands. Yi Mo quickly saluted with his fists and greeted. This is Sii Shiyu, Long Yu Mountain's core disciple. Long Yu Immortal Mountain is one of the top sects of Changrong Heaven. It's an emperor sect. So, Brother Yi needs to get closer with Brother Sii Shiyu, was that Great Eternity immortal who grunted at Yi Mo. He interrupted. I don't really like being friends with lustful people. Thanks for your goodwill, Brother Ji. Jishu didn't mind and pointed at the green-robed female immortal. Brother Yi, this is Immortal Monarch Sect, Sound Sword Sects. Sect leader's private disciple Jiu Ruyan. Jiu Ruyan was polite and greeted Yi Mo. Then Jishu pointed at that square-faced Great Eternity immortal. This is Brother Inhui. Inhui used that coarse voice and laughed. I'm a solo cultivator. I don't have their grandiose background. I'm a solo cultivator too. Yi Mo felt that Yin Hui seemed to be the strongest of them. This is Li Kuan, you Long Mountain Core disciple. Her master is. Yi Mo was completely dazed. Li Kuan. No wonder she seemed so familiar. If Ji Shu didn't say her name, he wouldn't even remember who she was. She was the main female character of the Lost Soul Ruins. Her father was called Li He. Her fiancé was Feng Shi, Feng Chun's son. Both of them were ambushed by Feng Chun. Feng Chun wanted Li Kuan's spirit root and used a spirit transfer formation to trick his son into believing it was soul-nourishing formation. His son was deeply in love with Li Kuan and would rather him become a normal person and lose his lifespan to use his soul to nourish Li Kuan's essence spirit. Note, the story is between chapters 1212 and 1220. It was because Li Kuan had a sliver of Feng Shi's soul that Yi Mo felt she was familiar. He still had the tear bead that contained 2 blood tears from Feng Shi after he died. Yi Mo didn't expect her to have ascended to the immortal realm and in a few thousand years reach great eternity, immortal tertiary stage. Her talent was too absurd. No wonder Feng Chun wanted her spirit root. Since he met her, he should give her back the tear bead. Feng Shi was a tragic person. Even Yi Mo felt touched by their love. Brother Yi, Ji Shu pulled Yi Mo again helplessly. He believed Yi Mo was no ordinary immortal, but his performance today was below standard. Ha! Yi Mo is a friend I met during body refinement. He has exceptional understanding of body refinement, Ji Shu introduced awkwardly. She sneered. Brother Ji, your friend is too high caliber. I can't be friends with him. Marshal sisterly, let's go. Then he turned and said no more. Li Kuan glanced at Yi Mo once and said nothing. Then she was about to leave. Yi Mo quickly called, Marshal sister Li Kuan, I have some business with you. Yi Mo didn't speak of Feng Shi. He didn't know if she liked him or not. If she didn't, then it was bad to bring it up. Chapter 1718. Truth Divine Emperor. Chapter 1718. Truth Divine Emperor. Seeing Yi Mo's failure, Ji Shu laughed. Let's go. We'll go to the Flying Dawn Immortal Tower and sit for a while. Yin Hui, Qi Beitsang, Jiu Ruyan all felt it was a good idea, so the 5 just went there straight away. Ji Shu was afraid Yi Mo would be dejected, so he changed the topic. Brother Yi, Flying Dawn Tower is the biggest restaurant in the city. There's the best immortal wine, drunk jade well, and there's also top-grade spirit fruit. Even the tastiest immortal spirit beast meat is here too. Yi Mo patted Ji Shu's shoulder. Brother Ji, don't worry about me. I just have some business with her. It's not what you think. You know her? Ji Shu smiled at Yi Mo. Yi Mo was speechless. How could he say he knew her? There were too many things involved. Don't think about that. I'll introduce a few pretty goddesses to you. Ji Shu laughed. Yi Mo didn't know her, but still had business with her. It was clear what he wanted. Brother Yi, Ji Shu is right. It's simple to meet pretty goddesses. Our Ruyan goddess is on par with Li Kuan. Or you can go to those female sects in Chongrong Heaven. I promise you'll get what you want there. Qi Beitsang laughed. Jiu Ruyan grunted. Qi Beitsang, why did you involve me? What did I do to you? Please forgive me. Qi Beitsang smiled and saluted with his fists. Yi Mo could tell that they were really close and thus joked around like this. At the same time, he felt very grateful. Ji Shu's friends were all very nice. They said these things to help him forget what happened before. Soon, some immortal fruits and drunk jade well was brought up. The drunk jade well was indeed good. The taste was lingering, and the immortal spirit qi inside was extremely dense. The wine would automatically turn into immortal essence. There's actually another name for this drunk jade well called poorest wine. If you fall in love with this wine, you will spend all your immortal crystals on this and eventually become poor. Yin Hui laughed. Yi Mo forgot about Li Kuan already. If he saw her in the future, he could bring it up. If not, never mind. As they drank, they started discussing cultivation methods, and the conversation went very well. When the three knew Yi Mo was immortal nirvana body immortal, they were even more hospitable to him. Yi Mo didn't explain. He was immortal spirit body. He didn't need to show it off. When they discussed cultivation method and cultivation with Yi Mo, they indeed found that Yi Mo had his unique perceptions. Sometimes one sentence from him would enlighten them on a trouble that had confused them for half a day. Jilruyam asked Yi Mo a few questions and raised her cup to Yi Mo. Martial brother Yi, your cultivation is lower than mine, but your understanding of cultivation method is very succinct and clear. Sometimes you explain things better than my master. I'll cheer you on. Then she finished the cup. Yi Mo quickly did the same. Seeing this, Jilrian said, Martial brother Yi, Martial sister Li Cohen is very pretty. There are many people chasing her. I suggest you not to. I heard other than martial brother Sii Shiu. Small immortal King Lu Mang is also deeply in love with her. Lu Mang is Chang Rong Heaven's heaven lord, Qianzhe immortal emperor's personal disciple. He has very high status in Chang Rong Heaven. Although my father is friends with Qianzhe immortal emperor, his status to the immortal emperor is much lower than Lu Mang's, Jishu said. Yi Mo knew what the two meant. If he offended Lu Mang, even Jishu's father wouldn't be able to help. Lu Mang is a top-grade prodigy of Chang Rong Heaven. Half a year later, there will be an extreme-grade great immortal Tao discussion social in Yuandong Heaven. Almost all the prodigious great immortals of the grand heaven domains will go. Little immortal King Lu Mang will definitely go too. We can go as well. Jishu wanted to take Yi Mo to see Lu Mang. Perhaps Yi Mo would give up his thoughts after he saw how talented Lu Mang was. Yes, it's all the best prodigies below status immortal going. Some of them are halfway to status immortal. It will benefit us to go listen. Jilrian nodded. Yi Mo asked in confusion. Lu Mang is already an immortal king. Why is he still going? Qi Beizong laughed. Lu Mang is a small immortal king, not an immortal king. Although he's great eternity immortal peak stage, he's no weaker than an ordinary immortal king, thus the title small immortal king. Lu Mang and Li Cohen are both the top grade prodigy of Chang Rong Heaven. Both of them are great immortal power. They are invited to go. We can't participate, but we can listen in. There will also be large auctions there. I came out after reaching immortal nirvana body tertiary stage, partly due to this Tao discussion social, Jishu explained. Okay, thank you, I want to go see too. Yi Mo agreed without hesitation. Brother Yi, we're quite similar. It's definitely worth a go. Qi Beirong laughed. Yi Mo was speechless. He wasn't similar to this guy. Seeing Yi Mo's awkwardness, Yin Hui laughed. Even if you're not similar, you can still go. I heard there will be a god artifact, outer realm flying spear. It can cross heaven domains and even realms, but it seems to be incomplete. Cross heaven domains and even realms? Yi Mo asked in shock. He knew that it was usually top-grade immortal ships that could cross heaven domains and realms, but they were too big and spent a lot of time in the void. They were very sturdy, and small void fissures couldn't affect them at all, but large ones would still destroy the ship. However, they usually had specific routes that avoided most of them. But god artifacts were different. They were beyond extreme-grade immortal artifacts. The immortal realm was large, but there were very few people who could forge god artifacts. Those who could were called divine masters. Due to very few people possessing this skill, there were no divisions amongst divine masters. God artifacts weren't the best magic artifacts. In the immortal realm, the best magic artifact weren't forged. They were naturally born. Beyond God artifact was primordial artifact. Above that was chaos artifact. I heard of that outer realm flying spear. It's incomplete, but only a few ordinary restrictions are broken. It doesn't affect its flying capabilities. I heard a divine master made it according to Void, Flying Snow's properties. It's even faster than void flying snow and can accurately avoid void storms and asteroids, Jishu said. Yi Mo suddenly thought of that ghost ship he had encountered. Immortal friends, I want to ask, have you heard of a ghost ship? Yi Mo asked. The room fell eerily silent. Seeing this, Yi Mo coughed. What's wrong? Everyone? Jishu breathed. Those who often go in the void all know about the ghost ships. Those who encounter ghost ships would die for sure. If it's a high-level ghost ship, not even immortal emperors can escape. There's different levels of ghost ships. Are there many? Yi Mo asked in shock. Judging by your tone, don't tell me you've encountered one. Chi Baitsong coughed and said, My bad. Jishuyu explained to Yi Mo. He thought that if Yi Mo encountered ghost ship, he wouldn't be sitting here. Jishu nodded and said seriously, Do you know truth divine emperors? Yi Mo shook his head. He actually didn't know. Remembering, Yi Mo came from a middle heaven domain. Jishu didn't think much and explained. Truth divine emperor is the strongest of the 9 Tao vindication divine emperors. Yi Mo was confused from how heaven emperor. He was told that there wouldn't be more than 4 or 5 Tao vindication divine emperors. How come there were 9 now? Jishu's story sounded like what Pungandang said. Jishu continued. Truth divine emperor is not only immensely powerful, he's the one with the most treasures. It's said that he not only has a time formation disc, but he also got the bitter bamboo and even the world mountain. Hearing this, Yi Mo's back went cold. Why did Jishu speak of the things he had? Chapter 17:19. Yi Mo's sense of danger. Chapter 17:19. Yi Mo's sense of danger. I've heard of the bitter bamboo. It's one of the 10 great spirit plants. Cultivating under it can prevent you from being attacked by heart demon and also increase your learning abilities. Jiurian said. That's right. Jishu nodded and continued. It's because that all his things were so unique that people were jealous. It's said that Truth Divine Emperor was very cocky and never reasoned with people. He would kill whoever offended him. In the gathering of 9 divine emperors, he was interested in the daughter of another divine emperor and just pointed at her saying, You will be with me from now on. One could see how dominant he is. Finally, his actions caused the other 8 divine emperors to attack him together. Chi Baitsong said in contempt, Of course they needed an excuse to gain up on him. Who knows why they really did it? I heard that the reason Truth Divine Emperor was gained up on was because he got the bitter bamboo. However, the bitter bamboo wasn't willing to recognize him as the master, so other divine emperors told him to bring it out and see who could become its master. Truth Divine Emperor disagreed, and so they fought. Hui quickly said, Baitsong, don't discuss the other divine emperors. Chi Baitsong nodded. Although Truth Divine Emperor was ambushed, that battle was tremendous. The heavens and earth changed, the stars shifted. It's said in the ancient times the immortal realm only had 1 heaven domain. Due to that battle, the immortal realm was split into the 33 heavens. As time went on, voids severed, and the immortal spirit chi of the 33 heavens were different, forming the now grand, middle, and low heaven domain. Jishu's words shocked Yi Mo. He had never thought the 33 heavens came to be in this way. Just how many people died? Then wouldn't the people during that time be? Yi Mo asked. Jishu nodded. That's right. It's said less than 10% of the people lived. And the law of the immortal realm was broken, making it harder for immortals to grasp laws. So after that battle, no divine emperor ever came into existence. After that battle, only 4 to 5 of the divine emperors remain. No wonder how heaven emperors said 4 to 5 divine emperor. Yi Mo finally understood. Thinking about what he had, he asked worriedly, Brother Ji, what about that Truth Divine Emperor? Truth Divine Emperor lost his body and essence spirit under their attack, but I heard that Truth Divine Emperor didn't truly die. A sliver of his essence spirit escaped into the void. In order to avoid being annihilated, that sliver of essence spirit turned into countless spirit cultivators. These spirit cultivators would keep growing stronger and devour souls in the void. Many heaven domain immortal ships would be devoured clean if they encountered such spirit cultivator. Now, Jishu looked at Yi Mo. Now, do you know what ghost ship is? The ghost ship is a sliver of divine emperor's essence spirit turning into spirit cultivator. It's invisible. Any immortal who see it isn't far from dying. There are also different levels of spirit cultivator. The higher they were, the more chances of dying. Of course, this is only a legend. I'm not really certain if the ghost ships are made from divine emperor soul. Then, isn't it like the nine-headed void devouring bug? Yi Mo asked. The nine-headed void devouring bug split out souls that grew stronger individually before fusing back together. It seems similar, but is actually very different. The nine-headed void devouring bug divided souls need to be controlled by people, while truth divine emperor's essence spirit would seek other souls to merge together once it grew to a certain level. Jishu explained. Yi Mo was more and more shocked. This was too scary. If this was true, then he was too lucky to be able to asakpi that ghost ship. Regardless, Yi Mo rejoiced him putting on stealth restriction on the bitter bamboo leaf. But even so, he wasn't certain if it was exposed. Why doesn't the other divine emperors care about the ghost ship? Yi Mo asked. Jishu shook his head. I heard that after the battle, the other divine emperors rarely came out. They were unseen. They were probably heavily injured. As for the ghost ships, as long as they didn't enter the heaven domain, no one would care. What about the top-grade magic artifacts of Truth Divine Emperor? Yi Mo asked. Chi Baitsong said, I heard about this. It said his top-grade magic artifact flew into the corners of the 33 heavens, some even in the world. Some low-grade magic artifact went into the cultivation realm. Hearing this, Yi Mo was shocked. Luo Yukontinent's Truth Fall Palace was Truth Divine Emperor's magic artifact. The more he thought about it, the more he thought it was right. There was spirit cultivators at level 7 of the Truth Fall Palace. They were controlled by Truth Divine Emperor's sliver of soul. If this was so, then the opening of Truth Fall Palace was a shenanigan. Every 30 years, countless elite cultivators would go into the Truth Fall Palace to give their souls to the spirit cultivators. Only those talented and with a strong soul could reach level 7. At the same time, Yi Mo thought of the bitter bamboo and world rock he got at the Truth Fall Palace Forbidden Grounds. They all belonged to Truth Divine Emperor. Now that he had it, the first thing Truth Divine Emperor would do after he recovered was to annihilate him. If he could still defend a little against He, Immortal King, and Lu Jingchuan, then against a Divine Emperor, he could only await death. Although Jishu said these were just legends, but Yi Mo was very clear that at least more than half was real. Seeing Yi Mo's face was bad, Jishu said, let the gathering today end here. Brother Yi, are you going to my cultivation home? Or Yi Mo quickly said, I'll go rent a cultivation home in the city. No problem, I'll handle it, Jishu answered. This was the third day after the gathering, but Yi Mo was still in his cultivation home in contemplation. Jishu helped rent this cultivation home. The immortal spirit chi was very dense, and the environment was great, too. However, Yi Mo was still full of thoughts in his head. He really didn't take Lu Jingchuan seriously, nor he, Immortal King. It would only be a matter of time before he surpassed them. But what about Truth Divine Emperor? If Truth Divine Emperor recovered, where could he live? Yi Mo no longer had the mood to stay here. He planned to go to Yuandong Heaven and get How Heaven Grand Emperor's heritage first. With this, Yi Mo immediately went to find Jishu to say goodbye. He didn't find him, however. He left with his friends as though he had something important. Walking on the streets alone, it was evident he was poor. Everyone had pretty magic artifact clothes and luxurious armor, while he only had a normal shirt. His armor was very ordinary, too. Yi Mo had been in divine damnation and body refinement frequently, and used up all his defense magic artifact, much less armor. His magic artifacts on him now were all made from void, secret silver. It was good for forging defensive immortal artifact and attack immortal artifact, but not good for armor. Yi Mo didn't worry about this. He was thinking about how to get to Yuan, Dong Heaven. The Heaven Domain teleportation formation costed a few million. Yi Mo needed immortal crystals, so he decided to go sell something at a merchant tower. A beautiful instrumental music sounded, and Yi Mo was immediately captivated. He then saw 12 goddesses coming over on clouds. They were playing music as they went. The rainbow clouds moved in an aesthetic rhythm that seemed very pleasing. There was a huge lotus cloud in the center that was empty. The people on the road moved aside. Yi Mo also moved aside, giving the spacious street over to these goddesses. Who is Ethereal Immortal Pond greeting this time? Such big scene. This is nothing. Look, it's the Ethereal Immortal Pond. 12 sounds. Yi Mo was shocked. Ethereal Immortal Pond was an 8-star sect in South Peace State. He didn't expect that Ethereal Immortal Pond had such huge status in the immortal realm. They were even in the Grand Heaven Domain. Chapter 1720. Li Kuan's Sorrow. Chapter 1720. Li Kuan's Sorrow. A blue-dressed female immortal walked out of a luxurious immortal rest tower with the company of a thin-eyed great eternity immortal. Yi Mo immediately recognized the two. It was Long Yu Emperor's sex Sii Shiyu and Li Kuan. Yi Mo thought she had left here, but instead she was still here. The Ethereal Immortal Pond, 12 sounds, were ordered by the saint to come greet Shiyu goddess. The 12 goddesses, standing on the clouds, had very crisp voices and spoke in unison. Seeing them each hold a different music instrument, Yi Mo realized why they were called the 12 sounds. Even though Li Kuan came from an emperor's sect, this greeting was too serious for her. Li Kuan's name was called Shiyu goddess. She probably still didn't forget Feng, so she used this name? However, that martial brother of hers stuck to her non-stop, making Yi Mo unable to talk to her. Now, he couldn't go up as well. Yi Mo shook his head. When his power was high enough, he would go to Long Yu Emperor's sect. If this Li Kuan was already married, then never mind. If not, then he would give the bead back to her. Yi Mo, come over. A crisp voice sounded by Yi Mo's ear. Yi Mo looked back in shock, seeing that Li Kuan was staring at her. Her tone was very cold and prideful, as though he would be running over. As soon as he heard this, because Li Kuan used sound transmission, no one noticed. Yi Mo thought and ignored her. Who knew what she was thinking? If she set him up to offend her or the Ethereal Immortal Pond, 12 sounds, he wouldn't be able to take it. Yi Mo, who had experienced all too much, not only didn't go over, but instead used mobility technique to disappear from this street. Yi Mo sped up to fly out of Fei Xia Immortal City. He didn't want to offend anyone nor any power now. He approved of Feng Shi, but there was no way he was going to risk his life to offend the Emperor's sect or Ethereal Immortal Pond. He already had enough troubles. He didn't offend any power in the Grand Heaven Domain yet, and it was perfect for him to cultivate. Even that little immortal king was quite enough for him. She thought Yi Mo, like everyone else, was coming for her due to her beauty, but now Yi Mo ran away instead. She told Yi Mo to come over indeed, because he wanted to teach him a lesson. She detested people who stared at her non-stop the first time they met her, and even told her to stay. If it wasn't on the other people's account, she would have taught him a lesson. But now Yi Mo ran away instead. Did he know what she was going to do? Or did she really misunderstand him? Did he really know her? Li Kuan didn't believe Yi Mo knew her. She had ascended to the immortal realm for nearly 10,000 years. Yi Mo didn't seem that old, so there was no way she knew him from the cultivation realm. In the immortal realm, she rarely made friends other than people from her own sect. As Yi Mo left, Li Kun suddenly felt she lost something. She had this feeling 3 days ago, but it wasn't intense. Now it was more and more intense. After a long while, this feeling disappeared. Li Kun breathed and greeted the 12 goddesses. You thanked 12 sisters for coming to greet me. I still have some business. 12 sisters, please return. You will definitely come visit Sister Ning Yu at Ethereal Immortal Pond afterwards. Marshall's sister Eli, where are you going? Shiu asked. Li Kun disappeared from the spot, but her voice sounded, Marshall brother, I have some private matters. After this, I will be going to Ethereal Immortal Pond straight away. Marshall brother Sii can go back to the sect first. Shiu's face was very bad. Yi Mo was in one corner of the street and left quickly. He didn't expect a mere great extreme immortal was enough for his martial sister to chase out. If he met this guy alone outside, he might even kill him. He thought that Ethereal Immortal Pond people would invite him to the sect too, but instead this happened. Now, he didn't even have an excuse to go. Just when the 12 sounds didn't know what to do, a voice sounded. In this case, you guys go back first. I will go with you goddess later. Yes, the 12 sounds left the city. Yi Mo breathed easy after leaving the city. He didn't exchange immortal crystals, but it was fine. The teleportation formation to Yuan Dong Heaven wasn't at Flying Dawn City anyways. He would get to Ping Liang Immortal City first. The young city lord was Qi Baitsong. This Qi Baitsong seemed like a fancy pants, but he was a genuine person. Just when Yi Mo was about to release his blue moon, a space ripple came. Yi Mo was shook, and just when he wanted to use mobility technique, he heard Li Kuen's voice. Do you really have business with me? Yi Mo didn't answer her. He scanned his spirit sense out and ensured there was no other people before breathing easy. That's right. Then tell me. Li Kuen's tone eased up a bit. She felt that sense of calling grow stronger when she neared Yi Mo. Yi Mo frowned. This was too close to Flying Dawn City. If people saw him with Li Kun, it wasn't good. No one would reason with a mere great extreme immortal. Even if they knew there was nothing between them, some people would still kill him without hesitation. I can't say it here. If you want to know, then follow me. Yi Mo released Blue Moon and dashed away. Li Kun frowned, but said nothing. She released a flying magic artifact and followed over too. It was also a top-grade flying immortal artifact and seemed to be higher level than Yi Mo's. In less than 5 minutes after they left, another figure landed where they were. It was Shiu. He wanted to confirm if Li Kun was here with Yi Mo, but he found a spirit sense mark here. It was left behind by Li Kun. Her tone was very uncomfortable, and even warned Shiu to stop following. Shiu sneered and left. 4 hours later, Yi Mo finally stopped. This was an extremely distant valley with ordinary immortal spirit chi. No immortal would come here. Even so, Yi Mo still set up a few restrictions covering up their chi. Seeing Yi Mo's fluent means, Li Kun was surprised. Even the top immortal formation sects wouldn't have such prodigies. She just waited for Yi Mo on the side. She wasn't afraid of Yi Mo suddenly attacking. Yi Mo was only Great Extreme Immortal Primary Stage, while she was Great Eternity Immortal Tertiary Stage. After finishing this, Yi Mo looked at Li Kun and said, before I say it, I want to ask you one thing. Just tell me clearly. Okay, Li Kun said. Your martial brother Shiu seems to love you. And I heard that little immortal king Lu Meng feels the same way too, and wants to engage with you. Is this real? What do you think? However, Li Kun didn't reproach Yi Mo for asking this. She said calmly, yes, you're right, but I already love someone. I won't engage with anyone. No one can force me, not even Heaven Lord disciple. You love Feng Shi? You didn't forget him? Yi Mo suddenly realized why Feng Shi loved her this much. You know Feng Shi, where is he? Where is he? Li Kun's tone became very shaky. Seeing this, Yi Mo thought to himself, this woman was indeed worth Feng Shi loving her. From her actions, Yi Mo knew she never forgot him. Feng Shi's spirit transfer formation. He was tricked by his father. He wanted to set up soul-nourishing formation, using his own soul to nourish yours. Yi Mo started explaining. I know all this. I know, Li Kuan murmured. When Yi Mo said that Feng Shi was injured by Li Kuan's father and then used by Miao Huijian as a soul jar, and even when he lost a soul, he murmured nonstop, whereas my Kuan Li Kuan's face was covered in tears. When I saved him, his soul was gone. He turned his will into a tear bead. I've brought this here. You can have it. Yi Mo took out the bead and gave it to Li Kuan. Li Kuan grabbed the bead shakily. A familiar chi came. The two red tears on the bead made Li Kuan unable to control the sadness in her heart. She knelt to the ground, and in a heart-tearing cry, Feng Shi. 2 blood tears flowed out and fell onto the bead. You're tuning in to the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.